And we are recording. We are live. Phone lines are open. Please go ahead.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon and welcome to the East Hampton Town Architectural Review Board meeting of today's date, which is October 14th, 2021. I'd like to open the meeting with the approval of our minutes from our last meeting, which I believe was, September 23, 2021. I reviewed the minutes. Has everybody else had a chance, and are we all in agreement that they're approved and good to go? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I just want to make a quick announcement.
Did you make a motion? Are we good?
We just usually approved. Do I need to make a motion, David? Don't we just really approve it? I can make a motion to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
It's going to be one of those meetings. Okay. I just want to make an announcement that if you're following the agenda, we had one applicant who has a time conflict today. So we're going to start with his application. And then as soon as we're done with that, we'll go back to the original listing. So we're going to jump to page 4 under fences, walls, gates, and berms for Brian Driscoll, care of Richard Sperber, tax map number 300-172-8-11, Miacoma Lane in Amagansett. So we're looking for Richard Sperber. Matt?
Yes, I just let Rich in, and
Great.
now I'm just waiting for him to see video.
All right, I'm going to read into the record that I read into the record tax map number, right? Okay, I got to get my head on here. Just got a little nutty before the meeting. Okay.
Okay, Rich that has joined. You do not have video. Is this Rich Sperber? Rich Sperber, are you on the phone line?
He's muted.
Rich Sperber, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
There you are.
There you are. Rich, unmute your little microphone.
Or is he? Are you calling in, or I don't know? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't actually think I have.
Mr. Sperber, can you please mute your TV or any other device? We are getting an echo.
Okay. All right, so let me mute this. Oh. No, I'll take that off. They just mute it.
Yes.
What's that?
You have to mute it here. This is where they're hearing you.
No. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, how's that? Okay?
Perfect.
Maybe.
Okay, good.
Okay, Esperanza, if you'll read into the record what this is for, we can get started. Thank you.
Yes. So this application came before us in a prior meeting. It's seeking approval for an existing driveway gate. It is at this moment existing at 7 feet high. We asked the applicant to consider a lower design than was presented even in the past to come into compliance, first of all, but lower even just to be more fitting with the neighboring, or the neighborhood rather. And so the new submission is proposing to reduce the driveway gate height to a maximum of 5 feet 4 inches to the top of the gate and the top of the posts.
Eric, there was a photograph that was uploaded that Richard submitted that shows how he's going to reduce the white gate so that the board could see it. If you can pull that up. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. And I guess being a little bit new to this, just as far as the the process with each application, if you'd like, when you read the application, I can show you the location on an aerial map, and then as the report is given, I can show you the renderings and the submissions.
Okay.
If you feel that's
Yeah,
helpful.
and that's fine, but usually what we do is once we start, we ask for specifically what we're looking for, so we
Okay.
can start, and then if we need the survey, it's going to be a little tricky for you to just kind of go through all the files, but if you could, I guess, focus on the latest ones, even though there's a lot of history, which we have uploaded in case we need it, that would help.
Okay,
Sure.
so these are the earlier, this is the earlier submission with the taller,
Right.
the existing tall gate and the taller proposed.
So
This
there's a
says-
lot of,
Yeah,
there's a lot of photos in the file, but what we're looking for was something that would be dated like October.
Okay. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
something said updated gate. I'm not seeing it in the file for this one, but I
It's at
think
the-
it's
it's at
this
the end.
picture here.
There it is.
That's it?
That's
Right.
it. You've got it.
Excellent.
If I could rotate it, that'd be even
Yeah,
better.
that's sufficient. We had come back last time, Eric, and it was, we reduced the gate to 6 foot, but then it was 3 inches above grade, so we were at 6'3". So the board was unable to approve it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just I'm just trying to get this for some reason. There we go.
There you go. I think now you've got the option.
Around the world. There we go.
Wonderful.
Twirling gate. Okay, Esperanza.
So I did this application was actually in Diane Benson's hands prior to so I made a point of driving down the entire length of my Ancona, and this is one of basically 2 driveway gates, the other one being fairly set back on the property. So this is the closest to the road. I think that reducing it is vital if it will remain. And I just would welcome any comments from the rest of the board at this point. My view is it's a fairly good compromise at 5 feet 4 inches.
Trip.
Yeah, I have no problem with the gate reduced to 5 feet 4 inches.
And Jonathan?
I just, is that whole black thing is supposed to be a plank, like at the very bottom, like 5 inches or 6 inches? Is that what that is?
The horizontal piece on the
The
top?
horizontal piece. The owner is not here?
Richard, are you
I'm sorry,
here?
what was that question?
The question was where you have it colored in black, that's going to be a white border panel, correct? Included in the 4 inches.
Right, to the top of that board that we're going to put across, it's 5 foot 4 inches, and yes, it's going to be white also. I just did it in black so that the board could see it.
Yeah.
Sure. But so then you're going to have a 5-inch board going across a series of 11-inch tall pickets and then nothing above, right? Is that it?
I don't think the
board
pickets
width is
are
going to be
11 inches though, Jonathan.
What?
I don't think the pickets are 11 inches.
Whatever they are, they're about that. 8 inches,
Richard, do you know the dimensions of the pickets? Do you know the dimensions of the pickets and the dimension of the border tops, just so we can be clear?
Okay, yeah, the board on top is going to match the lower board, which is I believe it's a 1x6.
Okay.
And then the pickets, if I remember correct, I think they're about 7 inches tall.
Yeah, all right. So the lower board, meaning the bottom of the pickets, the board underneath the bottom of the pickets will be the same as up above.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, because we wanted aesthetically to match.
Yeah, okay. All right, just trying to ask, figure it out. Okay. I think that this is a compromise that should work.
So everyone thinks it's acceptable. I agree. All right, Esperanza, if you'd like to make a motion.
So I make a motion to approve the application as submitted with the recent modification.
All right, can we get some some heights on that, including the gate and the post, just for the?
Yes, so the revised design would be at a maximum height of 5 feet 4 inches
Off the ground.
from grade. Both posts,
Right, from grade.
both the posts or pillars and the gate.
Good. Can I get a second on that, Chip?
Second.
All in favor, Jonathan?
Yes.
And Betsy, yes. All right, great. Richard, thank you so much for working with us on this. I think it's going to present much nicer on the lane, and I think the applicant will be happy with it as well. Thanks very much. And I was happy to be able to get you on first.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time and help. You guys keep up the good work. You're very important to East Hampton. It looks so much better than Southampton out here. So,
Well, thank you for that.
all right.
All right, good night.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so going back to the top of our agenda under agricultural overlay, 14 Osborne Lane LLC, tax map number 300-197-8-7, 14 Osborne Farm Lane in Wainscott. And we would be looking for Playman. Matt, I believe he was on.
Yes, and I don't know where this person is now. They were on the waiting room, and now they're not. So.
Well, let's wait 1 second. Maybe
Okay.
he just has to step away. And if he doesn't come back in a few seconds, we'll move on. And then as soon as he shows up, as soon as we're done with the next application, you can let us know. We'll jump to it. Okay, we'll be real flexible today. All right, so we're going to move to change to commercial in the historic district, DAPL LLC, tax map number 300-171-2-6249A Main Street in Amagansett. And we'll be looking for Drew Bennett, possibly.
That is correct, and I am not seeing Drew Bennett in the waiting room or the phone lines either.
Okay. I'm going to move to business signs, beverage shop, tax map number 300-166-6-6482 Montauk Highway in East Hampton. And we'd be looking for Sapen.
And, right, and let's see, no phone numbers on that, and Sapan, is it S. Panheda?
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct.
There it is. Okay. I let them in the waiting room.
Boy, this is crazy.
Okay, they have joined, but there's no video, no audio on their side.
Is it possible that the problems we were having with us joining the Zoom link, that the applicants are having the same?
I do not think so. I just did not open the link until I think quarter of. I had to deal with some stuff on my end.
Oh, I see.
The,
So
the link was perfectly fine.
good. All right. That's good to know. So then that wouldn't be the problem. Okay. Michael, so we're not all talking over each other. I'll ask you to, see if we can get Sapen to happen.
She just sent a message saying that they're in the room. So
Yeah, it says I'm here. He just sent a message. Hi, I'm here.
Okay. I have Adam, Chris Arabia, D. Reef, Gerard's iPhone, Lisa, James Rubin, Ryan Lang, Tara, Tina, and last name of Corrali. That's all I have in the waiting room.
Well,
Where's the
Well,
pan?
he's
Sapan
right there, and he's
Pineda.
he's
Okay,
connected.
now we got audio. Now we got audio for Pineda. But
Hello?
There he is.
there you go.
Hello.
You guys could hear me now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. Esperanza, if you can read into the record what this is for the beverage shop.
Certainly. Beverage Stop is located at 482 Montauk Highway, as you said. It is part of a series of 5 storefronts, and they are seeking 2 signs. One is at 24 by 96 inches. And let me just confirm that. Hold on. Give me a moment. I'm just looking at the new, because this was before us in a prior meeting, and the design was revised slightly. So yes. So 24 inches high by 96 inches would be the single-sided sign that would be attached to the facade of the building above the storefront. And then they're also seeking a directory sign at 21 inches by 58 in length. That would go by the road.
Right. And if you could just review where we were and the reason why we tabled and why we're back in front of us.
Yes. So the prior design, you see this one has all of the, it's just a rectangular sign, which imitates the other signage that is in this in the other stores, on the other stores. So we had suggested that to maintain sort of an aesthetic continuity, that the applicant consider removing the scalloped or the curved corners on the previous submitted proposal. So that has come back to us as a completely rectangular sign. I did not recall the directory sign being a part of this original application. So one thing that we have determined is that this being a directory sign, the applicant is only allowed to have a sign equal to the size of the ones that are existing in that directory. So a 21 by 58 inch sign would not be possible. It would have to be to code is 6 by 36.
What do you mean by to code?
Well, that's what the code indicates is for a directory. It would have to be 6 by 36.
I'm not familiar with that. I was under the impression from the last time we reviewed the directory signs in Wainscott that David said that they don't, size-wise, they don't need our approval, but we need to approve the aesthetics of the sign, the color, the lettering.
I believe
That's it.
Okay.
That's what I said was that the directory signage doesn't factor into
Right. The total square footage, right. You're right. Thank you.
Correct. So the signs, I talked to Ann Glennon about this today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. At the very least, they should consistently be the same size, and Esperanza is correct in that the code does put that size limitation on the directory signs. I don't know how big the other signs are in this directory, so it's hard to say, but they need to modify the application, or the board could approve a sign up to the limit in the code for the directory.
But the store I have is twice the size of the other store. It's actually like a double store.
No,
combined.
I understand that, sir, but I talked to Ann Glennon today, and I see your point, but that's not what the principal building inspector interprets the code to allow.
I feel like the ABOF's paint that was there before, like the whole directory was there, like the top part, which is pretty big, and that's actually 21 by 50 or 58, whatever the size is. I think they had it like exact same size.
They may have, but that doesn't make that doesn't mean that it was legal.
Oh, so they just like put it there, I guess.
Well, they were
Yeah,
there for a very
I
long
can't speak
time.
to that, but this is what's allowed under the code and what the principal building inspector is comfortable saying that's permitted under the directory.
Right.
Sign
All right.
section.
So I'm allowed 6 by 36, 6 inches wide, 36 long.
No, 6 inches high by 30,
Yep, and
yes,
36.
6 inches high by 36 inches in length, yes.
All right. So if I go 6 by 36, I'm approved.
Yes, you can. You can.
I
have
think
that.
so.
I want to ask one question. Esperanza, can you confirm and verify that this directory sign is on their property?
Well, we were looking at the site plan, and I did notice that it was not. But this site plan was, how to put this? The site plan was approved, and maybe Eric can chime in on this when we look at it. It seems to have an approval from 2018 or 2019, something like that. And it indicates that that road sign or directory sign was in a certain place and was to be moved or relocated. I'm not quite certain, I really didn't catch this until late yesterday. So I'm not quite sure, I don't know how to actually visualize this.
It's above a curb on grass, correct? Can you go back to that photo?
Yes.
So that's not going to be the town right away. I mean, that's going to be whoever owns the business complex, I would say. So,
but there's a line, the property line shows that it's
outside the property line.
the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm verifying for you right now, but it looks like it's in the Montauk Highway state right-of-way.
Wow, that far back?
Well, the right-of-way is so wide that it basically goes, the property line is basically right where the parking and the access lane starts on this property. That's based on what the site plan shows, but I'll verify it for you and I can tell you in like 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
If I can jump in, Sapan,
Yes.
I believe that this is a situation that doesn't concern you being a tenant, correct? But I wanted to just mention that this sign and the current directory signage in it and the posts are pretty derelict at this point. It really looks like it could use a rehaul. Is it possible for you, and I don't know what your relationship is with the owner of the complex, to ask them that the ARB board recommended that this be redone and, renovated or restored or rebuilt? And we'll find out from Eric if it needs to be moved. If it needs to be moved, that's like a win-win, because then he's not going to move something this old and beat up. He's going to have to do something new. And it's just that you're coming in with a new store and you want everything to look really nice and crisp and clean, right?
Yes, I do. And I think he did mention about moving it and, how it is, out of code or something. And yes, I could ask him to redo the whole thing. And I'm sure he will. Chance Garden, Vacuum, they all look terrible.
Yeah, they're probably all 20 years old or 10 years old, and it's just, gets beat up on that highway. Eric, do you have anything that you want to contribute, please?
Yeah, well, two things. First of all, it does look like it's within the state right-of-way. But to be honest with you, it looks like that entire grass area is within the right-of-way. I can look at a survey and, verify that. The other thing, too, is the code section that Esperanza was quoting. I looked that up, and I can verify that she is correct. When you do have a group of signs for more than one business on a site, it can exceed 6 inches by 36 inches.
Well, that's good to know. Learn something new every day.
That's section 255-11-55A 2B, in case you're curious.
So let me ask this. When you say it's in the right of way, does that mean that the owner needs to remove it and relocate it?
No, it's the state right away. So the town really doesn't have the ability to tell somebody to move something from the state right away. We can certainly point it out to them, but that is a state road, and that's really not our our directive to tell somebody to move something from the state right away.
But if I can, that's totally, I understand that, David, but on this approved site plan, New York State Department of, it's stamped by the New York State Department of Transportation. It indicates the relocation of the business sign and the proposed new business sign location. And from that picture, it would seem to me like it's in its old location and not in the new location. So there is.
I understand that, but the state agency is the one that's going to have to tell
Well,
them.
they already did. What I'm saying is that all they need to do is move it to the new location.
This was dated, this is in your file, David, if you want to pull it out. You have
I'm
it
looking
on
at
the
it, Betsy.
screen. Yeah, it's dated July 16th, 2019. Why don't we do this? This is not really under ARB's purview at this point. I think
It's not.
Right. So I think we're all in agreement, but we'll, pull the board that we like that Sapan, made the outline of the business sign that's going to go on the building to be in harmony with the other signs. And that if and when they figure out the new signage or whether they move it, then he knows that his sign needs to be 6 by 36, whether it's on the new location or it's on the old one. But again, if you'll pass that along to the owner, Sapan, that, we recommend that they upgrade this aesthetic.
Okay. All right. And did Eric I think he just mentioned it can be bigger. Did he not just say that?
No.
Then what?
No.
No, he said he checked and the code is that it can't be bigger than 6 by 36 for a directory sign.
All right. So 6 by 36.
Yeah. My recommendation is, of course, they all have to be the same size as that, they could keep the height of what they have, but this way all of the signs move up the post and then the vacuum sign isn't down on the ground like that.
Yeah.
Maybe have a little bit more space in between the signs. It could use an overhaul. So if anybody has any questions, if not, we'll move forward with an approval. Anybody have any questions for Esperanza? Chip?
No.
No. Okay.
So is it then appropriate to approve the entire application as submitted? I mean, I'm fine with that, but do we just approve the one that will go on the building?
The one sign is illegal, so just call that out.
Yeah, but we don't know if it's illegal and it doesn't come under our purview.
So I didn't hear that question. What was the question?
Jonathan, repeat your question.
My question.
Yeah.
She already answered it. I said, I don't think you can approve the entire thing with the multiple sign that's supposed to be 6 inches by 36 isn't even in there. The sign that's proposed is bigger. So you just have to approve what we can approve and note that this has to be 6 by 36.
Oh, right. No, I wasn't suggesting we were approving the application and the directory sign at that size that was submitted.
Okay.
Yes. So, but what I'm asking is we can approve both signs at this point. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve this application for 2 signs for Beverage Stop. The single-sided sign affixed to the facade at 24 by 96 inches, and the directory sign modified to comply with code at 6 by 36 inches. These are white PVC background with black lettering.
Can I get a second on that, Jonathan?
Yes.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
And Betsy, yes. All right, good luck, Saben. Good luck with your new business.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go back, Matt, and see if we have Playman on architectural.
Yes, Nora just texted me and said that Mr. Playman is waiting to be let in.
Great. So can we let him in, Matt?
Okay. Is it under another name then? Because I do not see Playman.
Kanev, which is his last name.
Nope. I see the Corrali, Tina, Tara Burke, Ryan Lang, Lisa, Gerard, D. Reef, Chris Arabia. That's all I got.
I have a message from Nora. Mr. Playman is online waiting LTV to accept him in on Zoom. He can hear everyone, but is receiving a message saying that state host needs. Hold on, it's not making sense.
Ask for his phone number.
Is receiving messaging that states the host needs to let you in. So he's waiting to be let in, Matt.
No, I definitely understand that. I do not see the name in the waiting room. The person was in before. I don't know where they went.
Okay. I'm gonna.
What, Mr. Playman? Why didn't you log out and log in? Try again.
Yes, please.
See if that.
I'm going to go back to change to Commercial Historic District, DAPL LLC, tax map number 300-171-2-6249A Main Street, Namagansett. We were also looking for Drew Bennett. And Matt, I didn't believe that you said he was in your list that you just read off, is he?
Drew Bennett is not in the waiting room, and I do not see the phone number attributed to that name.
He is not, you're saying?
That's correct.
It's possible he's not calling in Esperanza. He might think that this is an easy switch, his application. So why don't we go ahead?
I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea.
Let's go ahead and just read into the record what this is for.
So are we proceeding with this at 249A? Okay. This application is to replace an exterior door at the second floor on the south elevation with a double hung window. And this is 249A Main Street is part of the Gansett Snuggery. And
What is that?
it's where there are several little shops. We've recently reviewed, for instance, signage for grain.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Right?
Got it.
So we were just reviewing, this is, Amagansett is a historic district, and we were looking at how this played into it. It's a pretty straightforward replacement of a door for a window. And I think once we look at all the pictures of, this is the structure right here. And you can see next to the chimney, there's an area boarded up. That's where the door was. Before they did this work, there was even an exterior staircase. So now this is going to be a double hung window. There is part of the submission. There is an elevate. Yes, the elevations. There we go. Oh, great. Here they're outlined in red, which they weren't on mine. So that's more clear. What? Whose side? I don't have really any objection to this. If there's the proposed new windows match with the existing windows on the neighboring structure, which is where grain is. So
what about the other window on the other side of the building? Does the drawing match? Because the spec sheet he sent is 6/6 and this is 4.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I was going to point out, is that the spec sheet, that the element that was circled, or the window, that proposed window that was circled on that spec sheet, does not match with this. I'm going by this elevation, which is, and I know I had read somewhere, and I can't find it right now, that it was to be this 4 over.
That it was to match the other window that it says on the north.
Yeah, and again, and looking at the other buildings, those have this same type of window. So,
all right. So
well,
I'm going to make a suggestion since Drew isn't on.
I am on.
Are you?
Oh, good.
Yeah, you just got on. Sorry.
All right. So Drew, let me ask you a question really quick. The spec sheet that you sent that Esperanza asked, you circled the 6 over 6 window, but your elevation showed 2 over 1. Which one is it?
Or 4 over 1.
4 over 1. Sorry.
4 over 1. So, okay, so the existing windows on the building are 4 over 1. The intent for this replacement window is to match those windows. So when we go to the Anderson cut sheet, their standard windows are typically 6 over 1. And if you want 4 over 1, it's a custom grill pattern, which is what I've circled on the cut sheet here. And I hope that was clear.
Okay, I'm sorry, I did not get this part of the cut sheet, so we couldn't figure out why.
I'm sorry, and I thought the meeting was at 6:30, so I apologize.
Glad you made it. So okay, so that's fine. And I mean, if we wanted to look at the other images, I've been looking at also. I mean, I visited the site, but the images of the neighboring structures, they have this same type of window. So I think it would all be, in harmony.
Yeah, and the sheet that Drew that Eric showed, I don't have it in my file either, and you don't have it in yours. We're going to need to make a note on your file, Esperanza, if you can put a post-it for Nora to make sure that she, references that specific sheet that Drew submitted and not necessarily the spec sheet that he sent yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Where it says,
well, I think what happened is she only printed out that part, and
I see.
right? Okay.
So that was sent with the spec sheet. Okay.
Yes.
Any questions, anybody on this application? Jonathan, Chip?
Seems
No, it looks
straightforward.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, looks good.
Esperanza, you can go ahead.
All right. So I make a motion to approve this application as submitted.
Great. Can I get a second, Chip?
Second.
All in favor, Jonathan?
Aye.
And Betsy, aye. Okay, thanks, Drew.
Thank you very much. Good night now.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, I'm going to jump back. Agricultural overlay, 14 Osborne Farm Lane. Do we have claimant on?
I still do not see that name. If they are signed on, they need to tell me what name they're under.
Okay, I'm going to move forward. Fences, walls, gates, and berms, Stephen and Renee Selman, tax map number 300-39-6-234 Camberley Road in Springs. And we would be looking for someone from Sunshine Custom Builders. I don't believe I think there's a representative to the owner unless Steve or Renee is on.
Okay, I do not see Steve or New Sunshine, and they do not have a phone number that I can reference.
Eric, can I ask you a favor? You have my email address, right? Could you send me that list that Nora created with all the phone numbers so I just have it so I can maybe help facilitate this with Matt as we go forward?
Sure.
And no one's saying that they're here for 4 Camberley Road.
Oh,
Okay.
I got Playman. I see Playman now.
Get him, grab him before he goes.
And there's Mr. Playman. Here we go.
There he is. Hi, welcome.
Hi, how are you? I've been trying very hard.
Okay, well, it's one of those days where technically a lot of snafus. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Well, finally we got it. I've been contacting Nora, I believe. So she's been trying to relay messages. But anyway, thank
Okay.
you for finally getting through. Technology doesn't work great
okay,
sometimes.
all right, thank you.
Okay.
And thanks, Eric. I just got that. So, Chip, would you like to read into the record what the application is for, please?
Sure. Applicant seeks approval to build on vacant land a new two-story, two-bedroom residence, pool, and pool house. The pool is a gunite pool. The property adjoins an agricultural reserve to the rear, and the rear of the faces the intersection of Main Street and Beach Lane in Wainscott. The house would be 1,891 square feet, and the pool house is 200 square feet. The second floor is half open and half is a master bedroom. The exterior is a cedar board and batten with a cedar roof. Sashes appear to be black colored. This appears to be the last vacant parcel in this 1980 subdivision off Sayers Path. The lots are small, half an acre each, and the larger houses crowd each other because it is a very tight little development. This will be one of the smaller houses in the development. The style of the adjacent homes is a mix of contemporary and traditional, though you cannot see all of them because some of them are down flag lot driveways. This is designed as more of a contemporary barn farmhouse. There are two issues in my mind. There's an enormous amount of glass on the back of the facade, 3 sets of sliding glass doors, 1 very large picture window in the upstairs master bedroom, and a 3-part and 2-part sash windows. And the second part is I just want the applicant to confirm that there are no outdoor sconces and that the outdoor lighting appears to be in soffits or in ceilings of adjoining porches.
We don't have an outdoor, thank you for taking us. We don't have an outdoor lighting.
Fine, it's all going to be built into the soffits and the overhangs, right?
Well, I think by code is required one for a front door, and
Yes.
that's all we got.
Well, you have some others I see in the back and the side, I think.
We don't have anything on the side.
But on the back, you have some.
Maybe just under the porch.
Yes.
No, we don't. Yeah, under the porch, and they built into the soffit. Yes.
Okay, so I have no problem with the lighting then. This is the front of the house. You can see it's a very small house, relatively narrow lot. The pool and the pool house are to the rear. Back.
Yeah, let's go through the pictures.
So here's the back of the house with the pool house to the right. My only concern is the amount of glass on the first and second floors, the big, large expanses of glass that will shine out onto the agricultural reserve.
Is there a garage?
Yes, in the front.
There's a driving garage. Well, all right, so let's just go through the pictures and we can like dissect this. And also, once we get through, did you take pictures, Chip?
Yes, I did take a picture of the lot. Yes, I did.
So Eric, if just go through everything that you have, and if we need you to stop, we'll shout.
The back of the house, the front of the house up top. Sides, floor plan, first floor, floor plan, second floor. The master bedroom's on the left. It's open to the right. Basement.
And the survey. There you go.
Survey comes off Osborne Farm Lane. House on lot 14 on the corner is a very contemporary house. It's the only contemporary house I could see in the development. Most of them are shingled with colonial windows.
Okay. Jonathan, you want to weigh in on the design of this home or anything else that you'd like to comment on?
Well, yeah, I think, I don't know what's a political statement or whatever, but a house that's designed basically to highlight the pyramid law like this with the drooping sides is very unusual, if not absurd. And there are lots of ways to fit a house into a lot that are really nice houses without slicing part of the building down so that it looks like a droopy hairdo. I know that there are a couple of lots out where I live where people have come and built houses that don't fit, and the town board or the building departments let them build way too close to the property line. But this is, if it were the back of a garage, I would say, well, all right. But this is absurd, frankly. And I don't think how could anyone even like it?
Well,
To buy it.
like is subjective, but I think what we're focusing in is the cul-de-sac and the surrounding properties and how this would present in the neighborhood. I think that's more what we're.
Well, if a house is embarrassing, you wouldn't put it in the neighborhood.
Well, I think that's a little, strong. Again, design is subjective. You're entitled to your opinion, but I think if we could talk a little bit more about the elements and the details that you find to be inappropriate.
The element and detail is the fact that they have, because there's a pyramid law, 45 degrees from the property line up. They just took their house and said, we want to build this house, and they drew a line and cut the house off, and that's what they're building. And
Jonathan, this is a very small house for this property. It's 2 bedrooms. It's not even 2,000 square feet. It's a standard hip roof that you see on many Georgian houses. So
it's not.
It's a hip roof.
Thank you. It's not a normal hip roof. These they come down 2 or 3 feet. It's on each side. You see it?
No, I don't see what you're talking about.
Well, look at the pool side. Look at this drawing right here.
Oh, well, it hangs over a little bit, but yeah. So the detail is it hangs over and the facade goes up a little bit into the roof, but I don't find the roof line unusual at all.
Esperanza, what was your impression when you reviewed this application?
I do think it's an awkward design. I understand the scale is modest. I'm looking at sort of an aerial of that cul-de-sac, that side, and even I visited the house right next door to it, which is also fairly modest in size and must be the same size of a property. And it's just a charming house that fits into this sort of bucolic and agrarian scene. There's a part of this that seems a little bit like a commercial. There's like a commercial aspect to it. There's like a barn-like aspect to it. I don't know. But regardless, I'm also more concerned with an opportunity to kind of preserve the vistas a bit more, and I will, and also the point that Chip made about the expanse of glazing on facing the ag reserve. I have reservations about that. Oh, thank you, Eric. That's really helpful.
Esperanza, there are no vistas on any of these lots because the houses are so big and the side yards are so small, and often there's shrubbery on the side yards. I don't think you can see through any of these properties to see the agricultural reserve.
Eric, can you
I'm not talking so much about seeing from them. I'm thinking more about just preserving a little bit of the vista through, like if you're on Main Street and you're looking.
You can't see this at all from Main Street. You can't see this at all from Main Street. I tried looking. But see the house to the right of it, which is the modern contemporary house, it occupies, I don't know where that came from, but it occupies almost the entire lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just jammed in there and it's gross. I mean, what I'm saying is we have an opportunity here to avoid that sandwich next to it.
But a 2,000 square foot house does that by nature. I mean.
Okay, I'm just going to indicate the one right next to it, which just has the pool and just.
That house was before us about 6 months ago. I visited many times. There was an issue with the pool equipment. That is a very large house. No, not that one.
I'm talking the one right next to it.
To the left.
To the left on the screen.
That is a very large house, probably a 6-bedroom house.
No. Oh, no, not that big.
Oh, wait, and there were bedrooms in the basement
One
because I
near
remember.
the circle.
Yes, there were
No,
bedrooms
I'm
in the
not
basement.
talking about that one. I'm talking directly next door. Anyway, not the point. The point is more how.
What do you mean directly next door? I don't know what you're talking about. 300, 197, 8.8?
Yes,
That one.
we have not reviewed that in the last 6 months.
Yes, we did. I've been there 3 or 4 times. The pool enclosure is on the right. There was a very large issue. Oh, no, it's the one beyond it. I'm sorry. It's the one beyond it with the
Thank
pool
you.
enclosure. Okay, got it. But you can't see anything through these properties because the houses are so big and the side lots are so narrow.
And the lots themselves are, narrow and long.
It's a half-acre lot, but it's a rectangular lot that's very skinny and very long,
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah. How far from the roadway is the house? How many feet is the house situated, the front of the house from the roadway? Playman, approximately.
I have to pull up the survey. Yeah, it's right there. It's listed. 64.
64 feet from the roadway. Okay, so it's fairly far back. It's not really that far.
If I may jump in and just kind of clear up the whole idea behind it is,
Sure.
it's really the house is a 1-bedroom. I know there is a bedroom in a basement, but it could be future. We really try to make something that is looking a barn looking and fits in the neighborhood. And in all fairness, this lot can absorb a lot more house. And I think we really scale it down. There is no one house around this neighborhood that you see 1 bedroom in above ground level. So we really, really push extremely hard. And I don't know if you guys can show me, including the brand new house that is past 1 house that blocks the whole view. This is extremely small looking house. And I personally thought before you even show up in here, you will be guys happy to see something built up in a smaller scale. Compared to the lot, if that lot is picked up from a larger family, there is a lot of room to be push of a house in there.
Right. And I want to say to you, to that effect, when we all looked at your application, it was a breath of fresh air from a standpoint that we were looking at something that wasn't more than, 2,000, 3,000 or 4,000 square feet crammed in.
That's all the customer wanted. He wanted something very small. He wanted to enjoy the view, and that was the whole point of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we really
Are you the owner?
No, I'm not.
Are you the architect or the representative?
The representative.
Okay. And what was their feeling behind this sort of, barn-like, very austere facade?
What we try to do is exactly across the field, there is exactly the same house, except the roof line is a regular roof line, which is, I can pull up the numbers if you exactly want it, but it's a regular, hip roof. It's exactly across the field. That house is exactly 1-to-1 with probably a 50% less glass, which if somebody can pull up a little bit more the aerial view, I can point you about direction where is the house. Because there is one right in the corner that is exactly the same house and roof lines that are right there in the other cul-de-sac.
Which corner?
Oh, so the change, 1 second now. So the where it says a 30197-8-2, 1-to-1 roof line.
Oh, shoot.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
More technology problems, but I'll get that for
The
you.
technology has been chasing me all day.
Yes.
Up there, I see it. Right
It's
at the
right
corner.
up on the corner, same exact roof lines.
Can't see it, really. Let's see.
Well, yeah, I guess on that aerial picture, you can see it.
It's the one where it comes to a point at the top left, right? It's not
It's right in the corner, yeah.
That is correct.
Okay.
So
Exactly.
can we make that corner a little larger?
I can. I apologize. This is, I was having problems with the previous views. It was all, cut in half. But that was 2021 pictometry, which is this angled view. This is 2018, which is coming in better. But yeah, this lot here and the one that says 300-197-8-9, it looks like that's since been developed.
Yes.
That was the house that I visited
That's the bigger
several
house.
times with the pool
Yes.
equipment. Yes.
And
Yes.
Eric, if you
House.
go over to the upper left, not the first house coming off of the main road, but the second one that's almost like a pie shape, it's 300-192-8-2. If you could focus on that and blow that up, we could take a look at that house.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, excellent.
Hopefully this works.
In the meantime, I will try to tell you where it's the same exact house across the field.
That's
It's
what we're
not
at.
it.
No, it's here. It's just that this thing keeps
Yeah,
flipping the
that's
view.
exactly.
That's it right there.
The roof lines are 1-to-1, exactly the same roof lines.
I like the dormers on that roof.
Well,
The,
we
the,
can change it in the world. It's just what people.
Right. I'll tell you, so I didn't weigh in on the design. The other three board members did. And also to let you know, we're missing Diane Benson today. So we're down to 4 members instead of 5, which is always, I think, better to have a full board because you get more opinions and you don't get a, 50-50, pull.
If you bear with me, I will show you the house that this one we try to focus exactly the same one. I'm about to pull it out on my map, and I'll tell you it's exactly across the field. So, but the technology takes a little bit of time.
It's okay. All right, is Playman gonna be able to share his screen, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you're gonna have to help me up with the. Jericho Montrose.
All right, I'm going to make a general statement. We all get a pass today for technology. So we're just going to be patient with everybody going through what we're going through. Nobody has to apologize, and we'll just muddle through this the best we can.
Thank you. Okay, the house is on Wainscott Main Road, and the number is 145. If you guys have a way of pulling it out, this is the house that we semi-mimic, if that's a proper word, to put in there.
Okay. I see Esperanza working on it.
Wainscott Main Street, and the number is 145. The house is a 1-to-1 with probably 50% less glass.
Oh, but
It's right on the other side of the field.
that's the Conklin barn. Or the Conklin house?
I don't know, ma'am, who owns the house, but
I'm just looking at it. That's what I'm pulling up, and this looks nothing like that house.
I don't know which one you're looking. The one that is recessed backwards.
Right. It's part of
a barn.
It was a barn. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct, and it has a huge glasses on the back with the double sliding doors as like to cover up supposedly the glass. However, in our case, we can't have the same roof line due to the pyramid law. Mm-hmm. So, and the smallest thing that can fit in there with one bedroom apartment, with one bedroom, is what we have accomplished.
Okay. All right. Let me just weigh in.
Sorry to interrupt. And one more thing, right. The house is way back recessed, so there will be no any glass shining because it's probably 200 feet into the property.
Right. Well, normally, Clayman, and I'm going to ask you this question. It doesn't come under our purview what the interior floor plan is, but in order for me to address the fenestration on the back of the house, I want to ask you, since you said that it's a 1-bedroom, is their bedroom the whole second floor, like a large en-suite?
It's half, Betsy. It's half. I said that.
Okay, and what's the other half?
It's open. It's open to the first floor. It's
Oh,
a
I see.
two-story living room.
I say like a 1.5 story.
Yes, and we're intending to do like a beams, like in a barn, like a inside beams, like a barn beams.
Okay. All right. May I? My initial impression of this was that I felt, besides the fact that I like the size and I like the siding, I like the black trim, what I felt was that it seemed very, austere and kind of cold. And my thinking was more if there was ways to add some architectural elements to it that could give it a little bit more aesthetic value, because I think in the neighborhood, and no, I don't think you're hearing any of us asking you to copy, any of the cedar, shingle, sort of modern or postmodern or traditional homes on the block. Diversity is nice, but there is something to be said about the harmony in a neighborhood, especially in a cul-de-sac. You don't have, it's not a through street, so you don't have a lot of public going back and forth, but what you do have is what is really nice about Osborne Farm Lane is it's a neighborhood. And I believe that everyone on that block, built a home that they're happy with and they're proud of, and there's a level of interest and aesthetics. I'm not an architect. Jonathan Foster is the architect on our board. But when we looked at that other, house that Eric was able to, pull up on that pie shape, I liked the idea of the little dormers coming off the roof. I think it gave the roof a little bit more interest. I feel there's a disconnect to that white front overhang coming off of, the second floor with the supports. I would almost like to see something a little bit more built out as opposed to just sort of floating like that. I feel there's a little bit less interest. And then on the back, I agree with Chip from the second story, because the roof line doesn't really become a little bit of an overhang. You do have the decking on the second story, so therefore the first floor fenestration isn't as brightly lit going out into the sky at night. But I'm a little concerned about the second story having, those three areas of, almost wall-to-wall glass. So I'm wondering if, based on some of the comments that the board made, that you would want to take some of the suggestions back and work with the owner and the architect and see if there's any way that you could tweak this. I also see on the back color rendering that there's a side door near the chimney that has the same type of floating overhang structure over the side door.
It's just a side door, yeah.
Yeah. That to me is such a, because that every time I see that, and they're starting to use a lot of that out here, it reminds me of the St. Regis Hotel in New York.
That's why I said it looked a little commercial to me. There's
something, yeah. And we're seeing it more and more out here. A few, architects have been using that element. I just think on a barn, there's something a little bit, of a disconnect for me. I like the pool house. I get the pergola. So,
how can we change anything on the roof line? There is no more room to be changing anything in the roof line.
Well, if you look on the east and west side, the sides of the house, how that other house had little dormers coming off of the side.
But wouldn't that put a lot more light towards outside? Because those dormers,
the dormer has like a little overhang over it.
They can't put the dormers there because that's the pyramid line.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to explain is it's really, we can't do anything with the roof lines.
Okay. Well, if you can't.
But
the other house has.
Is it possible that what's also bothering us about how squat looking this is that the windows on the second story literally meet the roof line? I mean, that to me feels like it's just being squashed.
Yeah, it's like congested, right?
Yeah. So
The windows need to be made smaller. I mean, to give him some
yes,
advice.
that's what I think that's where I was going back to your point, Chip, and I agree with you of reducing the expanse of glass. Perhaps that would be an opportunity on this side, especially to.
All right, well, I think that, I mean, the roof extension that hangs down doesn't appear to be in the same even slope of the hip roof. And I think the Architectural Review Board could say you could make a balcony there or something so you don't have that. You could also say we will exempt this house from that small amount of square footage of the pyramid law and allow him to make a real hip roof instead of this fake hip roof. And you can also put the house sideways, you know, so.
Well, that would have been my suggestion.
If I may jump in, we did have a regular hip roof, what exactly Jonathan said, and we have this in the file. So we can definitely show you that, but they told us you're not going to even don't even try across from your door. So we had to go back. The plans had to be fully revised to come to this point.
All right, let me ask a question again. I'm not an architect. The pyramid law is 35 feet, correct?
10 feet. No, it's a 45 degrees from the property line up into God's country, you know?
But I'm saying the height of the roof, isn't there a height limitation for the second story, like from the ground to the top?
Yeah, there's a height limitation, but the height limitation would not change one iota.
That is correct.
So in order to accomplish what you're talking about, you're saying the house would need to be turned?
But
The
I
house
missed
can
the
be
last.
turned.
No. You're talking about the exemption from the pyramid law idea?
No, I'm not familiar with an exemption from the pyramid law. Maybe Eric can straighten us out here, please, Eric. There's a reason why you were here.
Jonathan had a good point. Is all he wanted to say is a regular roof, which is a regular straight line gable roof across. Jonathan, did I understand you right?
Correct.
Correct. And that was our original plan until we went and put the submission, and they said, "Where is your 45 degree?" So we end up back at the line just because of that.
Which is exactly what I said. Yeah.
Correct. And if we end up with a regular roof, which is a hip, then the house is exactly one-to-one barn, because a barn is a regular gable roof.
Yeah, there's no exemption from the pyramid law for residential properties. There is for commercial properties, but basically, if I zoom in a little bit here on the survey, you'll see that the building is proposed to be situated 18 and a half feet from the eastern property line and 18 and a half feet from the western property line. Without going into the minutia of the code, that's basically the required minimum required setback for the principal structure on this property. So as I think it was Jonathan was saying, this is a relatively flat property. So taking grade out of the picture, it's basically a 45-degree angle. So at that, if you look at the western side of the building, if that's 18 and a half feet away from the property line, there's no point of the building that can be of a greater vertical height than 18 and a half feet, which is, clearly why the architect drew it with that sloped roof on the sides there.
All right. Well, I feel honestly with this roof conversation, it's a little out of my game. I'm just looking at it from an aesthetic standpoint and how it's going to, be in harmony with the neighborhood, and as well as taking into consideration our purview over agricultural, property, buildings on properties, residential buildings. I just feel this needs a little tweaking. I don't feel that I would be in a position today to feel good about approving this as submitted for all of the reasons that I said and most of the reasons that the board had said. So what I'd like to suggest is, Playman, if you have any questions for Jonathan or Esperanza or myself or Chip, we'd be happy to entertain it, or we can just table it, right now, and you can, take the comments back and see what you can do to, make this a little bit more acceptable to.
I appreciate your time, and I would like, just to tell us what exactly you wanted to see. Just give us an example. Look at this house, because the house is really, we try to mimic house in the neighborhood.
Well, you know what?
Vertical lines.
Yes, but we do not like to do that, nor do we do it. When we're reviewing your property, first of all, we're not going to design the house for you.
We're not asking you for design,
no, but we're making comments to you. Playman, please, let me just say, we're making comments to you, and I'll be very happy to go through them. And after I go through them, if I missed anything, I'll ask the board to chime in. What my thing was, and I was in agreement with Esperanza, if you're in love with this roof and you want to keep it as is, to make it seem a little bit more, how can I say, harmonious to the rest of the house, that the second story windows are, like up against the roof line, that they need to come down a little bit or reduced in height so that there can be some more wood space in between the top of the window and the gutters. I feel a disconnect on the floating overhangs with the metal chains. On the back, the board members were not in favor with the amount of fenestration on the second floor. I was okay with the first floor because of the overhang that covers the light. Did I miss anything, Chip?
You're muted.
I thought it was pretty clear.
All right. Esperanza?
Yeah, I agree. Those are the main points for me that are that need resolution.
Right. And Jonathan, where did I miss anything from you?
Well, I think this is a silly roof. Playman, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What is the height of the second floor from the floor up to the top of the window?
Oh, it has to be one of the plans. I don't know it exactly on the top of my head, but the second floor, it's a minimum, code is a minimum 2 feet. So it has to be a minimum 2 foot.
2 feet?
Which one are we talking about? The master bedroom, or which one are we talking about?
Well, all right. There's one floor, right, on the second floor?
Correct. And it's only a master.
The ceiling that is higher underneath the roof area, right?
Correct.
So the walls are short, extra short, right? Well, here it says right here. All right. It's 7 feet.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you could try lowering the whole house and allowing those windows to go up into a dormer in the roof. You could, make those areas on the side become drop that down, so you have a real roof up there, and drop it down a little bit and have a balcony looking left and right. I don't know. Think about what you can do.
Yeah, I know, because we try to do the minimum, but it's I guess we can the doors, we try to do a match on the doors on the back, but we can remove 2 of the doors, and that will cut the glass of that, except will look like a one-person eye. They will not match with the top. To me, personally, design standpoint and architectural, Jonathan, you can tell your opinion, but it's not going to look right if the doors, upper doors and the bottom doors don't match.
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't match.
What would you suggest an architectural standpoint then? To make a 2-door and a 2-window on each side?
No, it might be difficult to explain. But,
Yeah, and also too, Jonathan, we don't want to redesign this, nor can.
Yeah, this is getting way too detailed
It's
redesigning.
getting a little bit too long. So I think the other thing to keep in mind, Clayman, when you do come back with, a new submit, making some kind of alterations to the board's comments, that you also submit a light fixture specification.
Betsy, there are no light fixtures. They're all in the soffits.
He said on the front door there is.
No, it's in the soffit.
In a soffit, and cold.
It can't be in the soffit.
It's in the front porch. It's in that overhang you don't like.
And in the back porch.
Okay, all right. I thought he said that there was a fixture near the front door.
No, it's in a soffit.
Okay.
It's in the ceiling, yeah.
All right, so Clayman, our next meeting is October 28th. It's not a lot of time between today and next Thursday to have a submit, worked on and presented. But I want to just call to your attention that the month of November, we don't have any ARB meetings because the way that our meetings fall on the calendar, the first one would be on the 11th, which is Veterans Day, and our offices are closed. Therefore, we don't have a meeting that night. And the 24th, I think, yes, it was the 24th or something, or maybe I'm getting my dates wrong, but the other one is Thanksgiving. So our next meeting would be in December, which I believe is the 11th. Hold on. Is December 9th. So if you don't have anything to us by next Thursday for the 28th meeting, you could come back to us by December 9th. But I want to also warn you, since we don't have 2 meetings in November, we're going to get booked up pretty quick for December. And the quicker you can get your plans in and get on the agenda would be the best suggestion. Because
so if I may review, less glass on the back, what does it mean? How much glass we need on the back?
I'd cut it about 25%.
Smaller doors?
Smaller, that big picture window in the master bedroom is the biggest problem, I think.
Okay, so the window in the master bedroom need to be smaller.
Yes.
I get it. Okay, very good. So that's a clear answer. Overhangs on the front, what, you don't like the cables or you don't like the overhang itself?
I don't like the white overhang. I just feel it's a disconnect.
It's black.
It's out of character.
It's out
They're
of character,
white.
and it's white.
It's all the trim is black.
Right,
Well,
but
the photorealistic renderings that you submitted, it looks white. So you'd have to
wall painted black. Okay.
No. So just to be clear, you have everything, the pergola, the back porches, all of that is white. Those overhangs are white. They're not black.
Well, all the trim is going to be black as the windows.
The trim, but we're talking about the overhangs that are over the door and over the side door.
Yeah, they're going to be all black.
Oh.
Well, that's not what you presented to us. And I also think that you're hearing from Esperanza and I that we would like for you to consider a different type of, covering over your side and front doors.
Okay.
Maybe have another option.
Okay. Anything on the roof line, maybe Jonathan will have an opinion on the roof line, since he's the only architect on the board.
You have to unmute yourself.
You're muted, Jonathan.
sorry, I've already commented.
Okay, so we'll table this. I'm sorry it didn't go as you had hoped, but, this is the last build out on that cul-de-sac, and we have I feel we have a responsibility to the existing neighboring properties and your neighbors that we review this very seriously, okay? Thank you for participating. And we look forward to seeing you again, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Stephen and Renee Selman, under fences, walls, gates, and berms, tax map number 300-39-6-234 Camberley Road in Springs. So again, we're looking, Matt, for somebody to represent.
He's already joined in.
Great. I'm going to just put my light on. It's getting dark. Okay. Is this Chris? Hi, Chris.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Good. Jonathan, if you'll read into the record what this is about.
Yeah, this is for new fencing along the front plane of the house, going sideways and wrapping around the entire backyard. Deer fencing and wooden stockade fencing. This came before us last week, or last meeting, I mean, and it was tabled in large part because of the stockade fence, which runs along Underwood Drive. And yeah, that it's right on the property line. It's right near the road, and that's why it's here. Now, I went back there since the last meeting, and I drove all down Underwood from one side to the other, and there's not a single other fence on the property line at all, and it's because it's so large. It is disturbing. This is a lot that's larger than a normal lot in Clearwater Beach, and I have had several clients in Clearwater Beach, and each of them have told me while I was working on their house that Clearwater Beach people build their fences at the fence line, at the house line, I mean, and keep the front yards open and let the deer be in the front yards and so forth to make it more friendly. And they like it like that. And I'm not sure why, because this is a side lot, it's on a street, it really shouldn't be, treated differently. This is an exception to almost an entire rule. I drove down several streets, looking specifically at fencing, and there's only one that was near the road on another street that I'm coming to next here. But and that was a deer fence, which you can see right through. So, and actually, a neighbor complained to me about the deer fence, and so this I think is a problem, and I'm wondering why the association didn't look into this.
All right. Well, let me just ask this. Eric, can you pull up the survey for the property so we can all look at how this house is presenting on this lot? This is a tricky lot, as Jonathan said. What they have is well, first of all, let me just explain why to Chris and everyone else watching why this is before us. Anything facing a front street that is in front of the plane of the house that's over 4 feet requires ARB approval. So on Camberley Road, where the driveway is, what they did is they constructed a fence that runs from the front plane of the house to the side where they have their wood stockade fence. It was a white stockade fence. So they're pretty much okay with that fencing on Camberley Road. What happens is from the plane of the house on the Underwood side drive goes to this the stockade fence that they installed that goes all the way down to the end of their property and then along their back of their property where their pool is. So that is what we were looking at on Underwood. And this is considered, based on speaking with someone in planning, to tell us if this Underwood is their side yard. It is in fact a front yard. So it still comes under ARB approval that over 4 feet, it needs ARB approval, and we can't approve anything over 6. So Chris, I guess the problem, started when you installed this 6-foot stockade fencing along Underwood, I guess not realizing it was considered a front facing, not a side yard, which if it was a side yard and you had another property next to you, by right, you'd be able to have that fencing. But since it's not, it does need ARB approval. So I went out there and we tabled this so that all board members could go out and take a ride and see, what's going on. And I went out, Chip went out. I don't know, Esperanza, did you get a chance to go up?
No, I'm sorry, I did not.
So what I noticed, and this is one little thing, and then I want to get into one of the suggestions and see what the board thinks, is the way that the picket fence runs along Underwood, it actually passes by a panel or so where it connects to the back part of your stockade fence behind the pool. There's like an extra panel that goes along Underwood, and then, you know what I'm saying? It's like a little thing like that. So to eliminate as much of this fencing as possible, I would seriously suggest having it meet at the corner and not have that extra panel. Do you understand what I'm saying, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. Then the other thing is I completely understand the predicament that the house has, because the pool is in the back, right? And you need a pool fence, but you're not going to want a 4-foot fence, pool fence along Underwood when you're all hanging out in the pool and cars are driving by. Underwood is not, a private, dead end road. So my thought would be to see if the owner would, or whoever, is responsible for this, would consider landscaping in front of that stockade fence with some type of evergreen shrubbery, like, some type of ivy that the deer don't eat. I think there's, it's like an osmanthus or something like that stays green, and it would break up the monotony of all of that stockade fence. The other thing to keep in mind too, board, is that fencing is brand new. So it's bright and it's shiny, and in a year's time or less, it's going to gray off and fade into the background. There's a lot of, sort of deciduous trees on the lot between their backyard and the neighbor's side yard. So it's all going to, sort of blend into the wood. But I think if you were to landscape, and again, if you go back to the survey, Eric, I want to just show. If you were to landscape from the front of the where the fence starts, where it meets the white picket or the white stockade, and you come down to the back, and then you also landscape towards the back where you can really see it from the road, almost to where before the pool starts. So you sort of wrap your landscaping around, I don't know, maybe 10 feet or whatever, that section is, or 20 feet, and soften that up so that it becomes more harmonious with the wooded area and it's not so shocking to the eye.
So you're suggesting from the FC at the front corner on Underwood, yes, back to about where the pool is, or beyond?
No, beyond where the stockade fence stops, right? Where it says FC online, but you have an extra panel there that's further out from where it meets the back stockade.
Down where it says N46. Which stops back on the left side above the word Underwood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where like 11 is, or where it says.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where the end of it is. You want to cut that back to the back line.
Yes, to be even with your stockade fence that runs along the back.
Sure.
And then also go to the point where there's a line that says 947 that comes in plane with the beginning of your pool. You continue your landscaping around to that back area, so people driving down the street. I'm not expecting you to put the landscaping all the way through the woods, but just that corner area.
Sure, we can definitely get some small trees to grow up alongside it.
Yeah, and just make sure they're evergreen,
I mean, like you said too, this time next summer, it's going to be brown.
Yeah, but you still need some landscaping there, because it's all it's all deciduous trees that are, doesn't have any undergrowth.
Sure.
Okay, so maybe what we do is have you come back to us with a landscaping plan, and you have it, sort of marked out where you're going to put it on the property in front of the fencing and wrap around the back. Chip, Jonathan, Esperanza, are you in favor of that suggestion? Do you think that would mitigate this?
I think landscaping is a big thing. Everyone does it over there heavily. But I still think the fence needs to be moved back a little bit. I mean, I don't understand why it can't move back, 10 feet to give that road a little air there. Really, if you drive down the street, some people it's just totally all open. It's, there's no fencing like this, and it's a very long fence.
I did actually find a couple of properties down the road on Underwood. One was on the corner of Waterhole that had the same setup, except theirs went across the front of the house too at 6 feet.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that because I didn't see that.
There's one at the entry point of Clearwater by, what is that road? By Hog Creek Road. That has it wrap around the front as well. I'm just pointing out that there are several throughout the neighborhood that do that.
But Chris, there's hundreds of houses that have nothing around them. I don't know why the owner of this house wants to create a prison type atmosphere. There is so much fencing, and now you're adding a berm. I mean, if they wanted to be in Starlock 13, they should have picked the property somewhere else, because I am appalled by what's going on this property with the fencing.
Well, I don't
know who they're trying to keep out, but they're certainly trying to keep out somebody.
They're just trying to keep the view down when they're in the backyard in the summertime.
Not with this fencing all around the front and the berm and everything else. It appears they don't want anyone to see anything. It's really terrible for a very simple neighborhood that's maintained its integrity.
Well, that's Chip's comment. The other thing is to Jonathan's comment, where your white stockade fence ends, and then you have a small panel of the stockade that continues, and then you start down Under Road. To Jonathan's point, eliminate that one piece of stockade fence in the front facing Camberley, move the side fence back, and then in that area where the fencing is now within your property line, you can put all that landscaping. This should have come to us before you even put the fence up. So I'm sorry that this is going to, create.
Honestly, I would have had I even known it was a problem, because like I said, I've seen it before. When you have a corner lot like this,
you're dealing with the building department, and, you could have asked the questions, you know how strict our codes are.
Oh, I totally agree. I understand most of them. I just misunderstood the reading on this one because the front of the house faces.
But every corner lot has two fronts.
I agree.
And two backyards.
But with a fence, I didn't know that was part of it. And the as I said before, the fence company who installed it said to me that throughout Big Island, Suffolk County mostly, there are different rules in different towns. So he didn't understand that East Hampton had that rule.
I understand that.
And he's willing to work with me, and moving it 10 feet in, 8 feet in, that's not a problem. I'm not arguing that. I'm glad to do it.
Okay. So then why don't you come back with a plan of moving it back along Underwood, clean up, some of this excess panel, stockade paneling. And by moving it back, that will allow you to do all the landscaping on your property line. That was a very good call, Jonathan. Thank you. Because if he would have put it in front, it would have been on the right of way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll table this, and you come back to us when you're ready. Okay, Chris?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you again. Good luck with
everything. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The next item on the agenda, Jeffrey Maslow, tax map number 300-87-1-21201 Old Montauk Highway in Montauk, has been postponed. I believe they asked to be put on our next meeting of October 28, 2021. Ryan Lang, tax map number 300-24-11-30, 106 Norfolk Drive in East Hampton. Norfolk Drive in East Hampton. We're looking for Ryan Lang.
Yes, he has joined, and he's just got to turn his video and audio on.
Okay. Was that a screenshot? No, there he is.
Hi there.
Hi.
He looks just like his screen.
Yeah. Although your hair was lighter.
I had to have a light on me for the camera.
Okay. Very nice. All right, Jonathan, if you'll read into the record what this is for, please.
Yeah. This is, it's for deer fence with a wooden gate, a maximum 8 foot high, natural wood, I guess, and it just says natural. And gate is 15 feet wide, deer fence is 85 feet long. On the survey, the deer fence is the green area. Once again, this is right on the property line. It's in a heavily, if you see the photographs I sent, it's in a heavily vegetated area. This.
Wait, go back one picture. Please.
For the cute puppy?
Who's that?
That's my dog, Scout. When I was in dropping my application off, Nora had a picture of an international Scout, which I have. My dog's name is also Scout, so I shared this with her just to,
You
show
stole
her.
the guy's international for a minute?
What was that?
Nothing. No,
I just saw the calendar
for a
above her
minute
desk and thought
Cool.
she would like this photo.
Yeah. He's beautiful. How old is he?
She just turned 2.
Gorgeous. Very good.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with her. Okay.
She's a rescue from Muddy Paws,
Nice. Where'd she come from?
Kentucky.
Nice. Okay. Well, welcome, Scout. Okay. To the good life. So, Jonathan, tell us what's going on here. So they want an 8-foot gate that is not existing, correct?
Correct. It's not existing. It's just good news. And then on the property line, they also want a 8-foot deer fence wrapping around the front part of the house, going back to the front line of the house, kind of the reverse of what other people have. The reason that he wants it running down the side is exactly the reason I talked about a couple minutes ago, that you can see everybody on the street and everybody practically in all of Clearwater starts their fence way back. They leave their front yards open. It's I don't know whether it's a law there, but it seems to be a very strong tradition that people like. And this goes against that. Also, there's almost no gates at all.
Okay, then I'm going to jump in and tell Ryan that under ARB's code, you are by right allowed up to a 4-foot gate and fencing in the front of your property. It has, it all has to be on your property. The fire marshal prefers that the gate be anywhere from 18 to 20 feet from the roadway, so that if they need to pull an emergency vehicle in, they can get in and they won't be hanging off, into the roadway blocking traffic. Also, that height limitation pertains to fencing as well, whether it's a traditional post and rail or a stockade or a little, deer wire fencing. Anything above 4 feet, you need ARB approval, and we can't approve anything over 6. So,
Okay.
8 foot's off the table.
Okay. So I did send, and it was after the deadline, I did send an amendment just to clarify a couple of things. The deer fence, I would put inside the clearing to keep, the natural look of the street there, especially on, I guess on this side, it would be if you're looking at the house on the left, it's really overgrown. So I, after getting some quotes, found out that it would be kind of prohibitively expensive to go into the clearing. So the deer fence would actually be in the clearing, behind the clearing. Yes, on the left side of that.
All right, wait, excuse me for 1 minute. When did you submit the update?
About a week after my application.
I don't have it in my file. Jonathan, I only have the photograph and the
There's nothing in my file at all. None like that.
I watched the last.
Oh, wait. Jonathan, look behind the rendering.
For the fence?
There's a memo dated October 7th.
That's the one.
Ryan. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Okay.
What is there?
All right, it says the deer fencing along the front of the property will be placed behind the existing native trees, brushes, and shrubs on the front property line, so it'll be virtually invisible from the road. So what height are you asking for us to approve that?
I would do 6 feet or under at this point. The reason I'm just putting it all out there, the reason I'm a little sensitive to the deer, as cute as they are, I had Lyme disease last year, and my property, the house that I bought, no one had really lived there for 20 years. So the property is really overgrown in the back. And I have to clear it eventually to make it usable at all. But right now, there's no fencing at all on the property. There's deer everywhere. And the front yard is really the best place that I have to, enjoy my property with my dog. So I'd like to put a gate that will keep the deer out, keep us safe from Lyme. I know what you're saying about the character of the neighborhood. It's a really friendly place. It's why I chose this part of Springs. I love it here, and I don't want it to be a visible barrier. It's just really to keep the deer out. So I'd be happy with whatever we think is the minimum height to do that.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Everybody has deer. Everybody does not want to. If you don't want to have those elements, then, living in the woods is not where you should be. There's condos and things like that where they keep, things a little bit more secure. So I'm going to ask you if you're be in agreement to table this, and that for you to come back to us with a survey that is marked where you would like this fencing to be behind whatever it is, because we can't approve something that we don't have it drawn out and that we could understand it. But I also want you to know that over the last 2 years since COVID started, and almost all the houses that have either been flipped or new buildings are asking for these humongous gates, and it's not in the nature of our town, to be, behind all these big white, heavy duty, 7-8 foot gates, or even if they're wood. It's number one, it's against code. Number two, we are reluctant unless there's a really good reason and the gate is way far away from the front of the plane of, the front of the house and down a little bit more to even approve a 6-foot gate. We're not doing it. It used to be 1 or 2 here and there, and based on the situation of the way the property was laid out, 6-foot gates were approved in the past. Unless you have a really good reason, and deer is not one of them, the board's very reluctant to do this. So I'd like for you to rethink how you want to, and where you want to play with your dog. And since you do have a backyard and you are going to do some clearing so it can be inhabitable, that might be where, your playground is. And you can put a 6-foot high fence with a pedestrian gate along the front plane of your house or a little bit further back, and enclose your backyard with 6-foot fencing along the side and the back. As you're right, you don't need ARB approval. Anything in the front over 4 feet, you need ARB approval. And, the property is somewhat small. We're reluctant for you to be enclosing your entire property. So I'd like for you to take the opportunity and rethink this. Okay?
Okay, but is the subtext is if it's under 4 feet, it does not need architectural review?
Approval in the front of the house, right? And if it's not above 6, from the plane of your house back, you don't need ARB approval. Anything above 6 in the back up to 8, you need ARB approval.
What about on the side?
In the front?
Past the plane of the front of the house, but on the side.
You would need ARB approval above 4 and not higher than 6. So if you want to come back and ask for that, you need to draw on your survey where it's going to be so the board can consider it. But I think you're hearing from us that you might want to have your area enclosed in the back and not the front. And you can put up a really nice, 4-foot gate along the driveway and run some 4-foot fencing along the front and the sides and keep your dog in if he wants to be out front. If you're concerned about him jumping, I don't know how big she's going to get, but that's also
she's still pretty small. She's containing her is the easy part. It's just we come inside and have ticks all over us pretty frequently.
Yeah. Well, can I make a comment on this?
Sure.
I think that, first of all, I think that your entire backyard is fully fenced in because...
Not at all.
Well, on at least 2 sides it is because the neighbors have completely fenced it.
Right. So my backyard, my back property line has no fence, so it goes straight through to Tyrone. And
I haven't been in your backyard. So... But what I would, first of all, I would think about talking with your association because they have rules, and I don't know what they all are, but they might be able to help you. But I would just get a tree shredder and clean out that backyard and make it a nice place off the road, and put the fencing on either side of the front plane of your house over to the existing fencing, and that would do it. I have spent a lot of time right near that house, and no deer have snuck in. So
I can look outside right now. And
I know. Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
let's move on.
All right. So the other thing is, Eric, if you can just go back to the photograph of Ryan's house that Jonathan submitted, that's being built. It's so cute. I think it is such a sweet little house. I would hate for you to have that.
He's right that it was unoccupied for 20 years and it was really shabby. You can tell that by the vines, I think.
Yeah.
So he's done a really nice job working on that house. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sweet. And so I don't think you want to.
That means a lot coming from you guys.
Well, and I don't want you to feel, again, that you're blocked in, and so you have such a nice house,
See, that's the neighbor, right? This is the neighbor. That's where the neighbor's fences are. And go back one picture. This one, that is the deer fence that goes along from the neighbor's front fence all the way back.
Right, and I have that on both sides. So it's the front and back that I need
Just
to
the back is a problem, but you can do that.
Right.
Just the cross traffic of the deer, really, because they go straight through.
Here's the thing, Ryan. If everybody fenced in their property, you know what would happen?
The deer have nothing to eat.
They'll find something to eat, but they'd all be standing out on the road, and that's dangerous for everybody. They need places to be able to roam and to migrate and to move around. And that's why we have the rules that we do. And you have a lovely home, and I think you can figure this out. The only thing that I can't tell you is the amount of clearing that you can do on that property that's not under our purview. If you have any questions, just go to the building department and they can direct you on that. Okay.
Yeah, because it was so overgrown, we have a lot of room.
Yeah, this is a pre-existing lot that was all cleared. So you should be able to have no problem.
Yeah, but I would just double check. It's better to be safe than sorry. Okay.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
And I don't know if you were listening, but we have one meeting left of this month, which is October 28th. Then we're off the whole month of November. And then the following meeting would be December 9th, and that's going to be pretty busy. So if you're going to wait until December, just make sure you submit your stuff as early as possible and don't wait for the deadline because you may not get on. Okay?
Just one comment, Mr. Lang, this is Eric Shantz from the Planning Department. First of all, if you have any questions about clearing or any other dimensional regulation, you can ask our department. We always have someone between 1 and 4. But your allowable clearing is provided on the survey that you provided to the ARB. You've cleared about half of what you can clear, but there is a clearing restriction on the property, so definitely check that before you go and do anything.
Yes, I knew it was restricted. Yep.
All right, thank you, Eric. I appreciate you saying that. I didn't want to say planning if he shouldn't have come to you. That's why I just said the building department. All right, Ryan, thank you. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Table this. All right, David Reef, tax map number 300-156-2-2644 Whooping Hollow Road in East Hampton. And this is Chips, and we're looking for David. Is he with us?
Yes, and if you can give me just a moment, I need to unmute the phone line.
Yes.
I'm sorry, actually, David Reef.
I'm right here.
Okay, perfect. I do not have to unmute a line. You can proceed.
All right, Chip, give me just 1 second. Welcome, David, and congratulations. Everything go well?
Yes, thank you.
Good, glad to hear it. All right, Chip, if you could read this into the record.
So this was before us August 26th and postponed, so we're back looking at it today. The applicant seeks approval for a pair of driveway gates in order to obtain a C of O. This property is on Whooping Hollow off Route 114 on the way to Sag Harbor. It's about half an acre. There are a couple issues with it that concern me. While the gate is an attractive open lattice design, that's the It is 6 feet 4 inches tall, attached to wooden posts that are 6 feet 10 inches tall. There's the gate, and there are the posts. The gate is 20 feet off the road pavement, but it seems far too tight to the road. A fire truck could not get close to that gate without blocking the road. And the gate and the fences adjoining it are right on the front property line. The right-of-way is in between the gates and the road. There is a 7 foot 9 inch deer fencing across the front, stapled to trees in spots, and 8 foot 3 metal posts in spots. It appears the deer fencing to the left of the front of the house is on the neighbor's property by about 10 feet, according to the survey. Let me just finish. The left driveway post may also be partially on the neighbor's property based on the survey and the surveyor's stake in front of it. On the right side is this, at the front of the property, there's a chain link fence, which appears to be the neighbor's chain link fence. That runs all to the back of the property. So the issues are the gates and the posts are too high. The deer fencing in the front of the house is too high. It may not all be on their property. And the fencing on at least one side of the property appears to be on the neighbor's property by a substantial amount. And the gates seem too close to the road. Do you want to talk a little bit about your property, David?
Well, if I get the neighbor to allow me to have that gate on, I don't know which way you're facing, but on his property, is that a problem or?
Well, according to what I see, the post, and there's a stake you can see on the left side of that post, that, according to the survey, is the property line. So the post really is mostly on your property, but somewhat on their property. But then your fencing goes way about 10 feet over, then comes up along their property on the left, and then cuts back to yours. So, I mean, we can't approve fencing that's not on your property for sure.
And how high is all that fencing from the gate? Is that 8 foot deer fencing?
Pretty much, yes.
And then it goes along the back?
And then it goes along the back, and there's lots of things going along the back where it's mostly 8 foot high deer fencing, yes.
So basically you have the entire property enclosed with 8 foot deer fencing, correct?
Yes.
And the gate is 6'3" or so, and with the post it's like 6'4", right?
No, the gate is 6'4" and the posts are 6'10". The only fence that's 4 feet or so is that chain link fence that goes up the right-hand side of the property where it says 203.26, but that appears to be the neighbor's fence based on where it is.
Yeah, and also they have that chain link fence that goes around the front of their property too. I took a ride by there. It's unbelievable that somebody put a chain link fence on their front yard, but it's under 4 feet, so it's not under our purview. Okay.
The main issue we should start with are the gates and the posts and where they're located on the property.
And you said they're right on the property line, but what's the section of the right of way? How far from the roadway is that?
It's 20 feet from the gate to the pavement.
Okay. Well, that's within, well, I don't know, David or Eric, 20 feet from the roadway, that's okay, since the 20 feet is part of the easement, so it's off the road for the fire marshal?
Well,
I don't see a problem with that, Eric.
Well, yeah, it's the applicable code restrictions are about the height at the property line. So, it's irrelevant the distance to the edge of the pavement in this case. So
okay, so let's take that off the table. Okay, so then it's really the gate and the post. They really need to be brought down substantially.
What height?
Well, I mean, we haven't been approving many 6 foot gates or posts at all lately. And because on the right side, that chain link fence is only 4 feet tall, I mean, if a deer wanted to jump in, they could just jump over that chain link fence.
Well, but that's arbitrary. We're talking about my property. But that's no, it's Jason. No, it's Jason's property. But so what would make it right for you to approve that gate? Because when we do leave that, when people have left that gate open, we do get a good amount of deer in here, and they just eat all our vegetation.
Yeah.
How long ago was this gate installed?
Oh, wow,
10 years
maybe
ago?
10 years.
Mm.
And when the person installed it, and this was a well-known, it's a well-known fence and gate installer.
Yeah, we know them. We know them.
Okay,
we know
so
them.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, please. David,
yes.
when you bought this house 10 years ago and you bought it with the gate?
No, we bought it 18 years ago. No, there was no gate there.
Okay,
But if you walk around the neighborhood, there's a good amount of gates almost equal to this size.
Okay, so when you installed this 10 years ago, were you advised that it was higher than what's allowed for the, okay.
No.
All right, and you just found out when the building department was there, they told you that the gate was bigger than what you.
Oh, they were never there. We put in, we did some work in the back, and they said we can't approve that unless you get this gate approved.
Well, you can cut that gate down to 4 feet, and you don't need ARB approval, but you need to deal with this 8-foot deer fencing in the front of your property, on the sides, in the front of your house, and the sides on the facing the front street, because the code is that you're allowed 4 feet from the front plane of your house facing the road. Anything over 4, you need ARB approval up to 6. So if you've got 8 foot, even if it's there, it's it's not to code, and you need to bring that into compliance.
Okay, so if I do the fence, if I do that gate at 6 feet, would you approve it?
I would be reluctant to approve this at 6, because you've got to bring all this down. It's got to look a little bit.
I will cut down the fencing that's in the front to 4 feet, but the gate on the, if you're looking at this picture now, the fence on the left side of the gate, on the left side of the post, is not on my property.
Right, I understand that.
So, if that's neighbor's properties, that's still my issue?
No.
Is it your fence? Is it your fence, David?
Well, I put it up there, but he allowed me to put it up there, so.
And it's your fence, and it's on your property line. Yeah, it's not,
Okay, so-
I'm looking at the survey, it's not on his property. It's on, it's on your property line. So if you.
You're talking about the fence on the right side of the gate?
No.
On the left side, on the left side.
But the left side is not my property, even though I put
Right,
it
but
up,
it's,
it's not my property.
well, it's not even clear that post is partially not on your property also.
I'm sorry, sir. If you put the fence there,
He allowed me to do that.
but we can't approve anything that's not on your property.
Right.
Okay, so that's not even up for discussion because we're not talking about my property.
Right, I'm sorry. I thought you were that there was a fencing along your property line, but now I see that a few feet further to the left is where you put that wire fence. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But that, to the left of the gate is not my property.
Right.
Yes, but it's your fence. You're saying it is your fence.
He installed it, but he installed it per his neighbor's okay on his neighbor's property, so it's not under this review.
Well, he can rebuild the fence and put it in the proper place, or we can leave it as something that needs to be done for the building department.
Well, it's really the neighbor's problem. I mean, the neighbor's not going to get a C of O because of the 8-foot fence.
Is there a house on lot 32 where this fence is? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a picture of the house. It's white. Here it is.
Jonathan, is this Jonathan's? No, this is Chip. Chip, do you have more pictures that we can look at so we can get a better feeling?
Yes, I submitted a lot of pictures, yes.
Let's take.
Go ahead.
I think that's one of mine.
Yeah, this is all that I have. It's about 5, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 5. That's mine. So that's the fence on the right attached to the trees and to the post.
Right, and that's 8 foot, right?
Yes.
Ag wire.
And that was installed by the person that installed the gate.
Looks beautiful.
And that's the chain link fence on the right side going up the right-hand side of the property.
Not on my property. No, it's Jason's.
Right. So, David, I don't understand why you have all this fencing across the front. A deer could hop over this thing in a second.
We never knew that was our fence.
It's not our fence. It's not.
It's not your fence, but I mean, you're saying you're trying to keep out deer. Well, all they need to do is.
Fortunately,
Well, he has a gate too.
yes, well, he has a
Yeah.
4.5 foot gate. Fortunately, that hasn't happened, and he just installed greenery in his front yard just in the last 6 months. So he really hasn't had a temptation for the deer until just very recently. So we don't know what our experience will be with that 4-foot gate with all his new shrubbery and bushes.
Well,
And
they'll
he
eat at his house and not yours.
Right.
I'm trying to put a sign there that say to eat at Jason's, but I don't know if that's going to work.
Jason, I'm looking at the survey, and you have on the back plane of your house that goes to the edge of your property on the left and the right, you have a wood fence that separates the front of your property to the back where your pool and your patio and all that.
Right, and I submitted a picture of that fence, I think.
And how tall is the wood fence off the back plane of the house?
I think it's like 8 feet.
No, it's not 8 feet. I don't know
It's to the right. Is there a picture of it?
There's a survey. You see, it says wood fence on the back plane, on the left and the right of the house.
On the right side, it's a major fence, yes. It could be 8 feet.
Well, you need ARB approval for anything over 6 back there.
But it's not 8 feet. And it's probably equal to 6'3", 6'4". I don't know how tall it is, but it's definitely not 8 feet.
And what type of fencing is it?
It's a wood fence.
Wood plank.
Very attractive.
Do we have photographs?
I thought I submitted a photograph, yeah.
Were you able to get in the property, Chip?
Yes, I walked all through the property and went around the back, yes.
Right, you saw David when you were there, right?
No, no one was there.
Okay. Any pictures, Eric? In addition, they might have been from the last time we had this on the agenda, which was.
Okay, I have the picture now in front of me.
Okay.
It's a solid horizontal plank fence. It looks like it's 6 feet tall, yes.
Okay, all right. So that by right you can have. So
and that's actually a fence we found when we bought the house.
Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is everything in the back, if it's not above 6, you're okay. All right. Is anything on your property above 6 feet in the back of your house, fence wise?
It all is. It all is, Betsy. There's 8-foot deer fencing all across the back of the property.
On his property line, inside his property. Okay. So he needs ARB approval for that. Okay. So my suggestion would be this, is if the board was willing, and your wood fencing on the back plane of the house is 6 and a few inches, that's okay. That if we were to approve your 8-foot deer fencing, which would then enclose your back area, and you get rid of that deer fencing along the front, which is 8 feet and is illegal, and you move that gate back a little bit and cut it down to maybe 5 feet, throwing it out to the board. What do you think? I mean, it's a big open gate, so if it was smaller and moved back a little bit more, it's not going to attach to anything because you're not going to have fencing in the front unless you do a 4-foot fencing from the gate to your side property lines. I don't know. I want, you know what I think, David? I think that I would like for you to digest all of this, think about it, knowing what you know, and if you have any questions, you can call our office, and somebody would be happy to help you, or David would be happy, our town attorney, happy to help you with some of the codes, and then you come back to us what you want to do. But we're telling you that the gate is a little bit too big and too close to the road, and that the 8-foot deer fencing along the front is not to code, and we can't approve that. So you need to do something in the front. Considering that you're nicely tucked in the back, I'm suggesting that you get rid of the gate and just open that up. But if you feel you need to have something, you need to come back to us what you want to do. Okay?
But what you said, if the gate is like 5 feet tall, you'd accept that if it's moved back, but
Well, if you come back to us with a proposal to clean all this fencing up, and that's what you're asking, and you give us a position where you're going to move it back to, we would consider it.
No, I would be in favor of that. I mean, the street,
Chip, you would be?
I would be in favor of a 5-foot gate, given the situation there in the woods and everything. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of would too, but it's up to the whole board. And
I don't want to be argumentative, but I think one of the panels said that it was
The distance from the
the
street.
distance from the street was okay. It was
Yeah, I'm not sure why you're asking for it to be moved back, Betsy.
Well, because aesthetically, if we're going to give him the extra height over 4 feet, if it's moved back a little bit, if it's not, is it the end of the world? No.
You could move it back to the clearing line and run his deer fence along the clearing line, which is way back, it shows on the survey where it is. So,
I don't know.
That's fine.
You can ask. What's the clearing line? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it should be indicated on your survey.
It says on the survey, edge of clearing. It's about
right there, edge of clearing. Well,
maybe it's another 30 feet back, maybe from the property line.
Then this way, the 5-foot gate's not going to present so largely in the front of your property. That's what aesthetically what we're having a problem with.
Again, I hate to be more argumentative, but
You're not.
There are many fences in this neighborhood that are just like my fence.
And none of them have our approval, and most of them are probably not to code. And the next time they have to get a building permit, they'll run into the same situation you are. We don't have enough code enforcement officers to go around and slap violations on all the stuff that's going up. And David, I don't know how long you've been out here. I think you said 18 years. You can see what's happening. There's more gates going up than we can even blink an eye at. None of them have our approval. Everybody comes to us that is doing the right thing and asking ARB approval so that it's a legal gate. They say, well, somebody else has a 7-foot gate down the road for me. Why can't I have it? And it's got to stop at some point, and that's what our charge is to keep and maintain the rural character of East Hampton town. And if everybody keeps putting up gates, we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it. And it's just, the deer are going to be standing out in the streets, and it's just not going to be a nice place to live.
Could we go half the distance of the edge of the clearing? Because this is an expensive move. It's all this. I mean, cutting down gate deer fence is not a big deal, but
well, if you want to cut that gate down to 4 feet and move all your deer fencing in the front down to 4 feet, you don't need our approval. You can just then have what you have in the back. You have a 4-foot gate where it is and your 4-foot deer fencing, and see how that works for you.
But David and Betsy, the deer fencing is stapled to trees. It's not professionally installed.
No, he's got to get rid of it. It's 8 feet.
Well, if it's 4 feet even, it's not professionally installed.
He's got to get, your deer fencing. You're not going to use agricultural deer fencing at 4 feet. I'm just saying if he wants to put up something else instead of what he's got.
But 4 feet wouldn't come under your purview.
That's correct. And then you don't
It doesn't matter what I do with that fencing.
Right. You can do anything. You can do a little stockade. You can do a little picket. You can do a post and rail.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Okay. We'll take this. And when you're ready, you just let us know. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Betsy, it's 6:08.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm going to jump Bluff Road real quick and get to Constance Zeckendorf Revocable Trust because she's got a time conflict with the agenda the way it was positioned. So tax map number 300, thank you, Esperanza, 300-189-4-29, 186 Skim Hampton Road in East Hampton. And I'm looking for Constance Zeckendorf. And Juby, you were supposed to tell me when it was 6.
Yes, and Constance was in a waiting room for a while. I do not see the person's name. If they can sign in again into the waiting room, that would be great, but they're not in the waiting room.
Okay, when they come back on, just jump in and let us know, okay? And hold on to her when she does come back in. 226 Bluff Road, LLC, tax map number 300-172-4-8.15, 266 226 Bluff Road, Amagansett, and I'm going to also read into the record its fellow property, tax map number 300-172-4-8.14, 230 Bluff Road in Amagansett. And there is Adam Jordan. Hi, Adam.
Hi.
Hi. Diane Benson is not with us today, so I'm going to take the application for her. And the last that we worked with you, you had submitted a new open design with a much narrower post. I believe it was 18 inches. Is that correct?
Correct.
On the post. And we were liking the new design that you submitted, but we were reluctant to approve a 6-foot gate and pedestrian gate. And we asked you to go back to the owner and see if they would be willing to accept that.
Yes, we'll accept lowering it to 5 feet.
Excellent.
As you suggested.
So what I want to do is just to make sure, because I know we were having a little bit of a problem with making sure we had the correct drawing. So what I have is the one that was submitted and received September 2nd, correct? I'll mark that for Nora.
Okay.
Okay. It was BR 226. So I'm going to make a motion to approve this application for a 5-foot, is it cedarwood?
Correct.
Cedarwood natural gate and pedestrian gate at 226 and 230 Bluff Road, and to reference the gate design that is BR 226, dated and stamped received September 2nd, 2021. Can I get a second, Esperanza?
Second.
All in favor? Chip
Yes.
and Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay, great. Adam, thank you so much for working with us all these weeks to months on this, and good luck with your project. I'm sure it's
Thank you.
Okay. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Madam Chair, let's get Constance in, please.
Good. Let's do it. Constance Zeckendorf, Revocable Trust, tax map number 300-189-4-29, 186 Skin Hampton Road in East Hampton. BR 226. So I'm going to make a motion to approve this application for a 5-foot, is it cedarwood?
Correct.
Cedarwood natural gate and pedestrian gate at 226 and 230 Bluff Road, and to reference the gate design that is BR 226, dated and stamped received.
What happened here?
Second.
We're listening to her feed.
A second, Esperanza. Yeah.
Second.
Matt, can you ask Constance to stop my voice? It's bad enough I gotta listen to myself once. I don't want to listen to myself twice. Months on this.
Constance, please mute your TV or any other device that you're listening on, because we can hear an echo. Here, let's get Constance in, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Excellent. Constance Zeckendorf, Revocable Trust, tax map number 300-189-4-29. Constance, you gotta mute your TV. East Hampton.
I don't.
So I'm going to make a motion to approve this application for a.
Then I can't hear anything. I'm not sure.
Correct. Cedarwood. Nat, is that Constance or is that LTV?
That might be the echo. Just we gotta be patient here a second.
It says LTV right on it.
Oh, I have LTV on. You're right. Hold on a second. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Matt.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
Constance, can you start your video or no?
Can I show my video?
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Start my video.
There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, Esperanza, tell everybody what's going on here.
All right. This application was before us regarding existing driveway gates that are in white wood and fencing that is also, I believe, existing. Ms. Seckendorf sent in.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Sent in a letter with what she is proposing to do, which is, this is the revised proposal to rectify the issue with these driveway gates. Because there's also deer fencing along the street. So the following is what she's proposing. The front yard deer fence along the street side will be removed along with the driveway gate doors. The gate columns will be cut down to make them 5 feet 6 inches tall and remain for now. And then 106 feet of pool code fence at 2 feet tall will be installed on top of existing 4-foot fencing that is, and I have pictures that are in these files, that are of the fencing that is perpendicular to the sides of the house, which is existing at 4 feet. And so she's proposing to add 2 feet. So it would be a total of 6 feet at the plane or behind the plane of the house.
Right, which by right she can do.
Exactly, yes. And we can also just look at the survey. So here, this shows you better. So the driveway gates would go, oh, sorry. The driveway gates would go, the columns, the pillars would be cut down to 5 feet 6 inches, and all of this deer fencing and that pedestrian gate would be gone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, Eric, if you could keep going with these photographs. Oh, this just shows where that deer fencing in the front then meets the stockade, which encloses the side and the rear yard.
And does that go away?
This, I think, remains, correct?
Stockade fence in the
front? You're not proposing to take this off?
That's the east side stockade fence. It doesn't belong to me.
Okay. You can see that on the survey. Thank you, Constance.
Yep.
And what about the fencing on the west side?
That would stay.
And what is that? How high is that? And what
That's
is
stockade? God, I don't even remember. I know we went through that before, and it wasn't an issue.
I remember seeing wire fencing.
Yeah, I think it's
sort of double wire fencing.
Yeah.
Like one over another. And I thought I took a picture of that as well, but.
And it looks like on the survey, it goes on to your neighbor's.
That's it right there.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you think that is, like 6 feet?
Well, there's 4 foot, and then there's a much taller one. I presumed that the taller one was the neighbor's, but
I did not do that. Yeah, that house was built, I don't know, after we built ours. I don't think that's our fence. I don't recall putting that up.
So that 4 feet that goes from the front towards the back is 4 feet all the way to the plane of the house, correct? So you don't need ARB approval for that, if that's the case.
I don't think so.
Which one are you referring to, Betsy?
This one right here, the little 4 foot.
This is in the backyard.
Oh, I thought you said this is what was on the side in the front.
Well, it's on the side. It's in the backyard on the side.
But okay, so here's the survey. If you look to the left, right, and you look where it says up in the left-hand corner fence with the little arrow, right, that looks like it's somewhat on her property line, but as you go further in the back, it's a little off. My question between the front, near the street to the back plane of the house where the middle plane of the house where she's got a fence that goes along to the side, how high is that fencing in the front part of the house, the property on the side?
I haven't been there in a while. I think it's probably about 6 feet, but again, I'm not sure it's my fence.
There are 2 fences there, it looks like.
Yeah, there were 2. That's what I'm saying. So
I haven't built anything new there since we built the house.
Okay.
Is 6 foot allowed?
No, you need ARB approval over 4. So I don't know what's there.
Are you talking about along the street or bordering the neighbor?
bordering the neighbor from the street back to where your fence and gate is that goes to the side plane of your house. That section of fencing that looks like it's a little off your property line, but on the property line. It's right to the right of your neighbor's driveway. It starts, and then it goes down and goes all the way down, but then it meets into your gate and fence that goes, along the middle part of your house.
Where the AC units are.
Yeah. So how tall is the gate as the fencing in that front area in front of your house to the road?
Honestly,
and is that your fence?
Again, I took a picture of, Betsy, is there are two fences. There's one that's a 4 foot or low, sort of a low fence, and then there's the taller one. And even on the survey, it seems like there are two fences there.
So if there are two fences, the inner one would be ours.
Right. And you're saying it was the 4 foot. And when I said, we had a picture up, I said, is that it? And you said, no, that's the back. So that's,
I said it's in the backyard. I didn't take the picture in the front yard. I took the picture in the backyard. I just wanted to be specific.
So
I presume I didn't, walk the line and see where it went to the front of the house. I presume that this same fence is going to the toward the street.
Right. Okay. All right. And is that true, Constance, that what is in the back goes all the way to the front? We just want to be clear so we can get this tied up for you.
I'm sorry. I'm not there. So I guess.
There's not anybody there.
All right. So let's keep going.
Yeah, I'd have to go back there to see that, Betsy. I'm sorry. I was paying more attention to what was indicated on the changes.
Everything was brought up regarding the driveway gates and the deer fence in the front.
Okay.
That's what my notice was all about.
Okay, so should we go back to the pictures?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, so all of that deer fencing along the street again would be removed, and the driveway gates.
Correct.
Because these are two sets of driveway gates, and so the same treatment to this gate. And then if you can go on, Eric. I don't recall taking that picture. Is that it? Can you go back to the ones that have the split rail?
Yeah, for sure. Just so you know, point of reference, this is basically along the front. To your left in the view here would be the eastern gate. There's a circular driveway here. And then it's just looking towards that western gate.
Right.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But I'll go right back to the start of the pictures because I kind of jumped around a little bit.
That's all right, Eric. Thank you.
Thank you. This is importantly because you're proposing to add the 2 feet, which is fine, and then change the pedestrian gates that are existing to new gates that would match the 6 foot height, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a design also element that she submitted.
Yes, yes.
So just go through what you got, Eric. It's good.
Eric, move forward a little. Yeah, click forward a little bit. Again.
Here's it.
Keep going. Keep going.
Did I send these pictures?
No, these might be Diane's. It's okay.
Oh, okay. No, so I'm.
All right, so there might be another file that Esperanza submitted.
Yeah, you had here coming up, I think, because you can see this right behind this. Keep going, the next one. This, okay. So here is where you plan to add the 2 feet, correct?
There.
Yes, on this side, and then on the other side, there's a similar fence.
And these are
gate.
Yeah, and these were when we built the house. These were code for the pool.
Yes,
we have the proper locks on them.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. So
you want to add for any reason because it's. Well, you have also pool fencing around the pool, so I'm just curious to know why you want to add the height here.
Sure, because most of my plantings that I
Okay,
value are in the back there.
in the back. Okay, perfect. All right.
Yeah.
But you have fencing from the middle plane of your house that I believe is 6 feet, did you
No,
say?
this is it, Betsy. It's only at 4 feet at this point.
Oh, I see.
And-
Okay.
Yeah,
And then the stockade fence is what's behind. Okay.
yes, correct. If you go to the next picture, this is where you have fencing that is higher than 4 feet. And you said this would remain because it has this, very obviously very mature vegetation, and there's an arbor.
I don't know how high it is.
Well, I'm going to guess it's 8 feet at least. And so we would need to approve this. I'm just pointing that out.
And where is this located on the survey?
It comes out from the side of the house. So it's where you see arbor,
the house?
right by the swimming pool.
Oh, it's in the back part of the house.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's the garage there. Well, where's the garage?
The garage is above the word barbecue.
Yes.
Garage is right there.
Yeah.
So the picture
Where it says arbor.
with the
Where it says arbor, it's right there.
Okay, so let me just ask, the entrance into the garage comes off of the driveway. Oh, no, it comes down around. So where is actually that fence in 8 foot, which is where it says barbecue? It's the back plane of the house. Got it.
Where it says arbor.
Where it says arbor.
Got
Yes.
it. Excellent.
Okay. And just stay here on the survey. So on the other side of the house, you see it's the same sort of split rail, 4 foot fence and gate.
Mhm.
And on that side, it would be then 6 feet. And then there are proposed designs for a very similar open rail gate with chicken wire, which Ms. Eckendorf submitted
Right.
a design.
Esperanza, like this, right?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Betsy.
So to wrap this up, I think that what you need approval for is the posts at 5.5 feet, correct?
Yeah.
And everything else you have right, except you need ARB approval for the 8 foot arbor and fencing in the back, which I don't think anybody would have a problem with.
Right.
David, is that what you're coming up with also? Did I get a thumbs up there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And this is what I'd like to do, because Constance, you've been really great with all this, and I know that you've been, under a lot of other, personal stuff and trying to work this out with us, and I want to, thank you for it. What I'm going to do is assume, if David's going to allow me to do that all that fencing towards the front of your property is that 4 foot fencing. If it's not, right, I will then, you know what we can do, Esperanza, I just thought of it. I don't want to assume anything. Why don't we do this and put in, as part of the approval, in addition to the posts at 5.5 feet and the 8 foot arbor and fencing in the back, that the fencing on the west front of the property is not higher than 6 feet. And then this way, if it's higher than 6, you needed to bring it down to 6. If it's at 6, you can leave it. If it's at 4, leave it, and you don't need to do anything with it. How's that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Esperanza?
Yes, yes. And yes, I agree with Betsy. Thank you so much for proposing all of this. I think it's really, the property's lovely, and this, I think, will really improve everything and come into compliance. So are we good then?
Yep. I think,
Go ahead.
Jonathan, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
I think it's great. I think it's great.
And Chip, how are you?
Yes,
Okay.
fine with it.
Good, good, good.
All right. So I make a motion to approve the application as modified, received September 23rd, 2021. Do I have to go through all of the?
Yes, just read
Okay.
off the 3.
Okay. So this is to approve the removal of deer fencing along the front property line facing the street, and the removal of the driveway gate doors, the reduction to 5 feet 6 inches of the height of the gate columns that will remain. The addition of 2 feet.
No, you don't have to do that. They get 6 feet.
Oh, right. No, that's fine. And what we would also approve the 8-foot arbor.
And fence.
And fence at the back plane of the house on the east side. And the maximum height of the fencing along the east side of the property toward the front yard can only be a maximum of 6 feet.
Excellent. Can I get a second on that, Jonathan?
Yes.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
And Betsy, yes, aye. All right, you're good to go. Thank you so much, Constance.
Thank you.
Okay. Give me 1 second, I promise. Richard Schiffman, tax map number 300-92-1-28.4, 21 Don Gann Way in East Hampton. So we'd be looking for somebody from Carl's.
Yeah, yes, give me 1 second, please. I'm going to unmute the line. Line ending in 6043.
Hi, this is Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Are you with Carl's Custom Home?
I am. I've never done this before, and I have not been able to get online, so I'm doing it by phone. I've been listening to you guys for the last 3 hours.
Was it educational?
We've only been on for 2.5.
Yeah, well,
Feels like 3.
I started getting on here at 3:30.
Well, thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate it. Okay, this is Jonathan's application. So, Jonathan, if you could read into the record what this is.
Yes, this is for a new gate, driveway gate. Says greater than 4 feet. It's an aluminum gate with a maximum height of 6 feet, painted black. The total length is 21 feet. It's a hydraulic driveway gate with a pedestrian gate attached somewhere. I have other information here, so.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. The 20 feet, is that just the driveway gate in addition to the pedestrian, or is the 20 feet?
It appears that it's the 21-foot driveway gate.
And then the pedestrian gate is additional?
Additional
42 inches.
No. Excuse me,
no, it's 16 and 4.
16 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
So it's 20 altogether.
2 inches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, okay.
21 altogether, sorry.
Thank you. So, Jonathan, you were up at the property. Do you have any pictures that you want to show us so we get a little lay of the land?
Yeah.
Here, or do you want to start with
Dongan Road winds through the woods, and there's a common access for 2 buildings right behind me, and you make a sharp right turn and go along parallel to Dongan Road, and this is the new house with a at least it's a turnaround thing for the construction people. I don't know exactly where the gate is, but it's around where that electric power thing is over to the tree, similar to that, but I don't know exactly. This is Dongan Road, and you can come in, you make a left or a right.
Why don't we look at the survey? I think we'll get a lay of the land that way. Because it looks like they're keeping that turnaround on the survey.
Yeah.
And I can't read it because the print is, the pedestrian gate and the driveway gate are somewhat further in on their property.
Yeah,
it's marked. It's easy to read.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's easy when it's on, being blown up. Okay. So Jonathan, where are you with what, this is only about a gate. There's no other fencing on this,
There's no proposal for fencing whatsoever.
Okay. So what do you think, Jonathan?
Well, it's a, what they said, what I said, it's a 6-foot gate, it's open. It doesn't look, it's well off the road. You would never see it unless you got into it. It's aluminum. There's.
I just have a question.
I'm not, what?
I just have a question. There's a photograph of an existing gate. Is that the design where it's going to be more open than it's closed? Or are we looking at?
There's a
sheet.
That gate right here.
Mm-hmm.
It may, or is that the model for this gate?
Or should we look at the spec sheet from American Design Fences?
I don't think I even have that.
Yeah,
well, it's the same thing. It's not that translucent.
All right. So my question is the smaller of the area, is that like spindles, so that it's narrow and it's more open, or is it more closed and it only has like an inch? Tell us about what the skate looks like. And
it looks like the picture.
Well, but I'm saying, is it more solid than open, or is it?
Yes, it's more solid if you look at the picture.
No. See on the right-hand side, it says 1 inch square, points to the picket. So it should be 1 inch square, and then like 3 inches of space, another 1 inch square.
Question.
The picture wasn't like that.
What?
Well, the picture looked somewhat open. That was just.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's the picture.
Well,
those do not look like 1 inch square.
That's correct. But
why don't we do this? Why don't we let Nancy tell us what this is? We're getting a little punched here.
Okay, well, yeah, all right. So, though each of those spindles are 1 inch square, so there's a big space in between each.
Right.
It's
So
hard
we
to
should
tell. It could be the other way around, but no.
It says 1 inch square.
Right. And what's the space in between? Do you know?
It's 2 1/4.
That I
2 4.
I don't know what that would be.
2 4.
2 4. Is that indicating the panels at top and bottom, or is that the space? Can't tell.
That's the width of that bar across the top that holds the spindles.
Right. Okay.
No. Well, oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
Well, you could gauge from that the width of the space then.
It's like let's say it's like a 1 by 2.5. How's that?
But aren't we going to need exact specs if we want to approve this? So we can't really approve it because we don't know.
Well, we can go ahead and approve the design based on this spec sheet and based on our history. I'm not going to read anything or have anybody read anything to the record of that gate that was photographed, because that's, where we got caught up on some other gate. I think we can use that as a rendering to reference what the design looks like, but we're going to have to use this spec sheet, and that it's going to need to have more information exactly what the spacing is, right, Chip?
Right. So, we need to ask her to come back with better drawings.
Well, all right.
Spacing
Down below.
Yes.
And also the width of the posts. I don't see the width of the posts.
6 inch square.
The posts are
6 inch square. Okay.
The rail, the top rail is 2 inches. The bottom rail is 4 inches. That's what that is. It says below that. He does not give the space between the 1 inch pickets. And it says 72 inches, but it's not 72 inches off the ground. It's taller.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. Plus the caps.
So if the fences and the posts and everything in the post is all 6 feet or below, we can approve it as 6 feet.
I think we need a detailed drawing. We've gotten ourselves in trouble when we've approved stuff that's measured off where there's no ground clearance.
Right.
The grade there could be 5 inches, it could be 4 inches, it could be 6 inches, but it's measured from the ground level, not the bottom of the gate.
Right. All right, well, let me ask a question. Based on, and I took a ride out there too when I was up, in that neighborhood. And, my question, I just have a couple questions and we can come back to it. There's these very tall lattice-like panels when you first pull in the driveway, and then when you go to turn around, there's a series of 4 more. What's up with that, Nancy?
Honestly, I do not know.
All right, there's Jonathan captured them.
I see that, I see them marked on the survey, but I haven't been there.
Was there a house there before? Was there a house there before, and then this was torn down and a new house built, and these lattices were left from the previous? Because you also have deer fences.
You can see that, yeah, there they are.
No, actually, this house is just being renovated.
Oh, it's being. Oh, so there was. Okay, all right.
It's not new.
All right, all right, but there was a house there before. That was my point. Okay. So these fencing are not to code. They need to come down. These panels.
All right. So the lattice panels need to come down.
Right.
Okay. What else?
Now you have deer fencing. Jonathan, were you able to measure what that deer fencing is to the left of the driveway that goes up and around?
To the left of the driveway?
If Eric, if you could bring the survey down a little bit, you'll see the fencing where it says proposed shower.
Oh, yes.
See that fencing? I was just curious what that is, what the height of, is that 6 feet or 8 foot? Nancy?
Actually, I didn't see that. I was, I didn't go there because we're focused.
Well, I went in to turn around.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. You'll need to find that out and tell us what that is. And also give us a better drawing where this gate would, well, let me just pull the board. Are we okay? This is really in a very, very wooded area. You would see the gate as you're turning the corner from the road, but it's positioned, I think, further back, sort of enough where.
Yeah, I think that it's what we talked about is appropriate.
Okay.
For approved gates.
Esperanza and Chip, where are you on the 6 foot gate if we get it all tightened where nothing goes above 6 from grade? And it's open like the renderings look, but she gets us a more specific spec sheet.
So, is there proposed fencing that attaches to the gate?
That was going to be my question. I only saw proposed fencing by the pool or new fencing, but I didn't see anything here. So what's the point of a driveway gate with no other fencing?
As far as I know, there's no fencing proposed. They want a fence. I mean, a gate with a pedestrian thing for baby carriages and bicycles and whatnot.
So then we could do 5 feet. And not do 6. 6 is blooming, if this is going to be there and I'm glad it's, there's not going to, the whole property is not being planned to be fenced in. I think a 5 foot gate would give them the security that they want. And I think that it would be less looming and opposing in that area. There's not hardly any gates and it's very wooded. So would you go back
so
to
you're saying
5 feet on
from ground?
From grade, right. They'll like it better. It's just a nicer height. The 6 gets just so out of character. And then if you could then get back with us and also if that's acceptable to the homeowner, if they could then have a new spec sheet from American Design Fences, showing how, what's the dimension of the post as well, not the post, but the spindles as well as the open space, and then have it at 5 feet. And you could also then, when you come back to us, Jonathan can go back out there and measure the fencing, but you could put that, also in your letter when you submit the new drawings, what the height of the, because the way that this property is positioned, and I'm gonna ask David to jump in. David? The way that this property is positioned, right, that it doesn't really face a front street where this fencing is, by right, she can have up to 6, but would need, if that existing fencing is 8, she would need ARB approval, correct? The way, right, that she can have 6 feet there.
That's correct, Betsy.
Great. Do you understand that, Nancy?
Well, no, I did not. She can have 6 feet where?
Okay, where on your survey, where it shows that deer fencing, we don't know the height of it. By right, you can have 6-foot deer fencing where you have it. If it's higher than 6 and no greater than 8, when you come back with your fencing, with your gate proposal, the new proposal, that if you want to maintain that deer fencing at 8 feet, you would need ARB approval, and we could work on that for you at the next time you're before us.
Okay.
All right, but if it's 6, you don't need our approval.
All right, so now, what do I do next? Now I have to go to them, and then I have to get what you asked for, and then I bring this back to you, or I email it in? What do I do? 5 copies of everything?
Right, what you do is you go to the owner, and you tell them the AR board recommended that instead of a 6-foot plus high gate and pedestrian gate in the driveway, that they do a 5-foot from grade. We like the design, but you need to update the spec sheet because that's what we're going to reference in the resolution, and that you have somebody measure what that deer fencing is so we understand what that is when we go to give you the approval on the 5-foot gate. If it's 6 feet, we don't need to approve it, but if it's over 6, we would. And we could at that point.
Okay, and they have to take down those lattice panels?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're over 4 and 6.
All right, and then I just bring them back in 4 copies of everything that I...
Yes, and I'm going to give you a little timing on this. Our next meeting is October 28th. So if you can have this all back to Nora by Thursday morning, on the 21st, next Thursday, we can put you on the agenda for 28th. If you miss that cutoff, we have no meeting. We don't have any meetings in November because of the schedule with holidays. And then we're back December 9th. As soon as you can get it to Nora and get back on the next agenda, that would be the best thing. If you miss the other one, get it in soon. Don't wait until December to put it in. You can still put it in. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. If you have any questions, you can call the office or David McMaster, who's our town attorney. Okay? And he can help you with that.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Nancy. Have a nice evening. Okay. So we did Brian Driscoll. Extension of time, Beckman Commercial Building, tax map number 300-49-1-14, 94 South Euclid Avenue in Montauk. This was approved for a new building on the corner of South Euclid and Essex on the south side, which is across from the north side that we took a look at not too long ago in that area where all the new lots are being developed, 2-story commercial buildings with apartments up on top. This was one of the first ones that came before us, and I think it was around the time with the gallery across the street. And Eric, if you can pull up, we were able to get the digital files. The only thing I can present is the elevations, and we're looking for Tara Burke, and there she is. Hi, Tara.
Hello.
Tara's representing Rhett Beckman, who is building this building. And my recollection is that the first story is going to be a veterinary clinic. Is this for Dr. Molly? Yeah, so Dr. Molly operates out of a sort of like a mobile type of clinic in her property. And so they're building this building for the vet clinic on the first floor, and then there's some apartments on the second. This was approved back in 2017. And it was held up for construction to start based on some sidewalk issues with planning. Is that correct, Eric?
Yes, that's correct. There's actually a number of lots within this block of downtown Montauk that have either active site plans, ones that were approved very recently, or actually there was also a extension of a town municipal parking lot here. So there are a lot of different properties that, are proposing sidewalks. We wanted to make sure that they line up. Really the big question is whether or not they're going to be in the right of way or on the subject property. The property nearest to this, there was a number of discussions in front of the planning board about what the appropriate thing to do is. I should add that there's also head-in parking proposed in the right of way on all of these applications. So this application, Beckman, was originally approved, in this configuration, in a different configuration with the sidewalk on the subject parcel. After debate, the planning board agreed that they would prefer to see it within the right of way. So basically the applicant has been before the planning board recently for a modification of the site plan approval. And now they're just coming into you to get a modification because the plans are changing for that aspect. But there's really
that doesn't come to under our purview, the sidewalk and the parking. So what we're doing is what happened was their 3-year window to build this house and close it out came and went in 2020, right?
Yep.
June of 2020, and then they were in the middle of COVID. Construction, basically came to a halt in the spring of 2020. So they're just now getting back to us, and they're asking for a extension of time. So can we just scroll down, Eric, so the members of the board that weren't on the board in 2018 can see the elevations? Back in that day, we weren't asking for color rendering, so we didn't have any in the file. But it's a very traditional style house or commercial building. Tara, you want to? No, that's good, Eric. Where you got it? You want to just talk about what the materials are so the board understands?
Sure. So the shingle there, you can't really see in this photocopy, but they're shingles, and they're red cedar shingles. That's the roof right there that just came up. We actually went back and forth. I'm sorry?
Nothing. Sorry.
We actually went back and forth with the architecture review board at the time, and the board had wanted us to do that Fox Hollow gray. So that's the roof shingles. And then the other side that was just kind of on with the swatches, the dark green velvet is what the board had asked us to do for the fascia. It's down on the bottom if you scroll down on that. And it looks black on this, but it's not. It's a dark green. It's just because I scanned it into the computer. In the board's file are the actual swatches. And then the windows themselves are the Anderson forest green. So it's basically a red cedar building with green trim, green windows, and the gray roof, Fox Hollow gray.
Okay, and the siding is cedar, correct?
Yes, cedar shingles, 6-inch reveal.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about the design? Because this isn't about that, but I wanted everybody to see what that would look like. And
no, I mean, it's a lovely building. Why wouldn't we give them an extension of time?
Exactly. Right. Okay, but I just wanted you to see it since you weren't on the board, so you knew what you were extending. Okay, so if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'm going to make a motion to approve this for an extension of time. Can I get a second, Chip?
Second.
All in favor, Esperanza? Yes?
Sorry, I muted. Aye.
Yeah. Okay. And Jonathan?
Yes.
All right, good. Tara, thank you. Good luck. And tell Mr. Beckman we wish them luck with the new building.
Is Dr. Molly used to work in East Hampton?
I think she did, but a very long time ago, if she did.
Yeah, very long time ago.
Yeah.
She was very nice. Yeah.
Good vet. Okay, great. We're going to move into, good night, Tara. Issuance of certificate of occupancy, the First National Bank of Long Island, tax map number 300-188-1-8.1, 100 Panago Road in East Hampton. And Chip, if you could tell us what this CO is for.
Sure. These next two are both mine, and they're very simple and easy. The applicant seeks approval to obtain a C of O for the First National Bank of Long Island's new branch next to Goldberg's on Pantico Road. Signage on the back of the building over the main door and on the front of the building facing Pantico Road. Signage consists of pin letters attached to the building facade. Both signs measure 7.5 square feet each, and we had approved 8 square feet sign, so they're under on both cases. This is an elegant and simple sign. It's very, very discreet. I see no reason for not approving this.
And I think we have the applicant or a representative on the Zoom.
You do, Gerard. Yeah.
Hi, Gerard.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm grand. How are you?
I'm good.
Grand.
We're getting ready to prove your C of O.
Okay, great. I thought you forgot about me.
No, it's just, we do the certificate of occupancies at the end.
It's no problem. This is in reference to the signage?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should actually do them in the beginning, so, right?
Get them out of the way, I know.
Yeah, let's think about that. Okay, Chip, go ahead.
So I make a motion to approve this application for a request for a certificate of occupancy and instruct staff to notify the building.
2.2, 11 Roberts Lane, Chip.
This is equally an easy approval. The applicant seeks approval for a second floor dormer added to the back of an attached 2-car garage. The rear of the property adjoins an agricultural reserve. That's why it's in front of us. As we approved, all the materials used to build this dormer match the original design and materials of the house and the garage. This is a well-done alteration to a nicely maintained home. I see no reason not to approve this application. Is there any discussion?
No, I see Tina's trying to get in. Is she on, Matt?
She has joined with video only, and
Okay.
I believe she's also called in, but if you want me to, I'll unmute them.
Here it is.
Hi, Tina. So we were just approving or about to vote on your dormer on the back of your garage.
Okay.
I have no issues with it. It's beautifully done. It maintains the integrity of the house. Unless other board members want to comment, I think we can move on.
No, fine. You go ahead and make a motion, Chip. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve this application for a request for a certificate of occupancy and instruct staff to notify the building department that this is ready for that certificate of occupancy.
Okay, great. Can I get a second, Jonathan?
Yes, if Chip likes it, I like it.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Yes, aye.
Okay, and Betsy, aye. Thanks, Tina. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for hanging in there. All right, the next is Gurney's at the Panoramic Tax Map
It's okay.
3-2.1272 Old Montauk Highway. And this resolution and request for certificate of occupancy is for 3 small cottages that are, down the southern part of the resort where they were, hold on 1 second, make sure I got the right one. It was the albatross, the seagull, and the sandpiper. They were replacing existing windows in size with black frames, replacing existing siding with new vertical clear siding, natural finish. All the exterior AC units were to be removed, all window shutters to be removed, all existing lattice to be replaced with new cedar lattice with natural finish, replaced existing guardrail with new posts and new cable railings. All doors to be replaced with solid core doors with natural finish, replace existing roof with asphalt shingles and charcoal, and new flush mount ceiling lights. The 3 cottages were beautifully executed, everything to the T. It looks really nice. The panoramic is really coming in to be a really beautiful resort. So I'd like to make a motion that this is ready for certificate of occupancy and to advise the staff, to advise the building department to do the same. Can I get a second, Esperanza?
Yes, second.
Okay, all in favor, Chip
Yes.
and Jonathan?
Yes.
Yes, okay. The next one is at the same resort, the panoramic. It's the Valley View Building number 5 and number 8, tax map number 300-87-3-2.1272 Old Montauk Highway. And this was a long single story, but raised from the ground. So a group of units, and they renovated the exterior and I believe the interior of these as well. And what this renovation required was the replacement in kind of all exterior siding with new hardy board siding, south-facing guest room picture windows and doors to be replaced with a single sliding door. The existing guest room railing will be replaced with new handrails that have concealed and integrated LED tape lights that matches resort standards. All guest room deck dividers will be replaced in kind. The new dividers will be clad in knotty vertical nickel gap pine. All windows and shutters will be replaced in kind. 2 first-floor entry doors will be replaced in kind. 1 window will be removed at the loading dock area. The north ramp light replaced with LED sconce to match resort standards, and the existing proposed block wall to be painted black. You know what? I didn't, for some reason, I was with a representative and I failed to take pictures of all of these renovations, but everything was done perfectly. There is one photo, Eric, if you could just pull it up. The only thing that wasn't done was on the eastern facing side of this number 8 or number 5 building was a cinder block wall that was a foundational wall. And when you go down the driveway, you would make a right into like a storage area. And so they had not painted it, but they sent me a photo, and I called them on Tuesday and said, if you want to paint it Wednesday, send me a picture. Everything else is good to go. And they did. And did Nora upload that photograph with it painted black? There should be one more. These are the ones I took on Tuesday.
I will look, but these are so far the only pictures.
We were in the middle of a conversation yesterday during the preview meeting, but I did receive photographs that they painted everything black on Friday. The resort looks great. So I am going to make a motion to approve the certificate of occupancy and to instruct staff to notify the building department the same. Can I get a second on that, Jonathan?
Yes.
All in favor, Esperanza?
Aye.
And Chip?
Yes.
Okay, great. 21 South Euclid LLC, tax map number 300-49-3-39.1, 21 South Euclid Street. This was an existing resort/apartment complex, small on Euclid, more to the west of the street, the other opposite side, closer to the Harvest Restaurant than where we're talking about all those other lots being developed. And I have some pictures. Basically, what this was for, they were replacing the existing windows with the same size Anderson windows and replacing the existing vinyl siding in kind with the same color gray. So whatever pictures you have, Eric, we can just show it. I have pictures from when it wasn't updated, and I sent some pictures. Oh, this is right. That's what it used to look like. And then my pictures are what it looks like today. There you go. It's a little dark. It's a little darker because the way the sun hit it, but they did a nice job updating it. And I think these are all little apartments, hopefully for workers and support staff. So it matches the resolution, and I make a motion to approve this. I'm sorry, is somebody saying something?
Sorry, that was me. I'm saying goodnight to my coworker.
Okay. Sorry to keep you so late, Eric, and your coworker. So I make a motion to approve this certificate of occupancy and instruct the staff to do the same. To instruct the staff to do the same for the building department. Can I get a second, Chip?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, Esperanza
Aye.
and Jonathan? Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Eric, for jumping in. I'll tell you, it's very helpful to have somebody from planning to answer a lot of the questions that we, struggle with. And thank you, David, for all your help, and good job, board. And make a motion to close the meeting. Can I get a second, Esperanza?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.